Series race coverage from the Iowa Speedway in the HyVee Perks 250. As today we have a short track afternoon on a Saturday for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Full race coverage coming your way right here, and you can watch visually on the USA Network. First race on the USA Network for the Xfinity Series schedule this season. They'll be covered over the summer months and the early fall races as the playoffs begin later on this year. But as far as today's race, we're going to quickly blow through the starting lineup as the field is already doubled up. And we will be going green here in just a couple of pace laps. Austin Hill is on the pole for this one based off the metric system after qualifying was rained out earlier this afternoon. Shane Van Gisbergen has won the last two races on road course. Will start outside of the front row in second. In row number 2, it'll be Sheldon Creed and Justin Allgaier. Row number 2, Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier. Row 3 will be Sam Mayer and Chandler Smith. Row 4 for Cole Custer, John Hunter Nemechek, Jesse Love, Parker Kligerman in row 5. Row 6 for AJ Allmendinger and Riley Herbst, both still looking for their first wins of the season. 9 for Sammy Smith and Blaine Perkins, Anthony Alfredo, Ryan Ellis round out the top 20 in row 10. In row number 11 will be Kyle Segan, Corey Heim, Kyle Weatherman and Matt DiBenedetto in row number 12. Row 13 for Leland Honeyman and Brandon Jones. Josh Williams, Ross Chastain in the field today. He'll be starting deep in row number 14. Row 15 for Brett Moffitt and Jeb Burton. Moffitt in the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. David Starr and Patrick Emerly will be in row 16. Row 17 will be Haley Deegan and Dawson Cram. Garrett Smithley, Joey Gase in row number 18. Row 19 rounding out the field today will be Daniel Dye and Glenn Reen. So that rounds it out. 95 to 100 laps is the estimated fuel window for today's race. 75 laps in both Stage 1, Stage 2. Final stage will be 100, making up our 250 lap, 218.75 mile race around the 7th, 8th mile short track here in Newton, Iowa. Cars just checking their pit road times right now. Again, we are just minutes away from the drop of the green flag for today's race. About 2 more parade laps. We'll quickly go through the point standings coming into this one. Cole Custer is your regular season points leader following the West Coast road course swing that we had over the last couple weeks in Portland and Sonoma. Cole Custer still winless on this year, but is 12 points ahead of both Austin Hill and Chandler Smith in the race for those additional 15 playoff points for winning the regular season championship. After today's race, there are still 11 races to go in the Xfinity Series regular season. Justin Allgaier still within stretch of that lead as well. He's 24 points out at first. 4th overall in the standings. Jesse Love is in the top 5 and 5th, minus 74 points. Minus 100 is AJ Allmendinger in 6th. And as far as the drivers who are locked into the playoffs for the Xfinity Series with wins, 2 apiece for 3 drivers, Chandler Smith, Austin Hill, and as of the last 2 weeks, Shane Van Gisbergen. 1 win apiece for 3 other drivers, Sam Mayer, Jesse Love, and Justin Allgaier. Cole Custer, as I mentioned, is the points leader, so he's the highest in the point standings without a win. Then you have AJ Allmendinger, Riley Herbst, Sheldon Creed, and Parker Kligerman also in the top 10 in the point standings. As far as the last driver in on points coming into this race, it is Sammy Smith for Junior Motorsports. Sammy Smith just 11 points to the good season. He's outside the cutoff line again in the middle of the summer this year, much closer to the one he was a year ago, but still sitting 30 points to the negative coming into today's race. Couple of bad races in a row for Brandon Jones coming into this one as well in that West Coast swing out at Sonoma and Portland. Anthony Alfredo, who's in the top 10 for most of the season, has also slipped back in performance in recent weeks. Had a DNF at Portland 2 weeks ago and a not-so-great run at Sonoma last week. He's 15th overall in the driver standings. He's minus 31 points below the cutoff line. And Parker Retzlaff is about a full race worth of points out of the top 12, which would qualify for the playoffs. Again, only 12 drivers can lock themselves in. And you may need a win to get yourself in, as we have 6 different Xfinity Series winners this season. A lot of competent drivers have not yet gone to victory lane this year. A couple of them starting towards the front of the field here today. As far as this one goes on, again, the race is on the USA Network. You will get to listen in, I guess, to the audio of some of the broadcasts throughout the course of this race, as well as my own broadcasts per usual races right here on the channel. If you're new, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button as well on the stream, whether you're some green. Next lap. Again, 75 laps in this first stage. Very few cautions at Sonoma a week ago, only 3 for incident in the Xfinity Series, much more in the Cup race that next day. And again, Shane Van Gisbergen trying to go for 3 wins in a row. He will be starting at the tail end of the field, though, in this one, despite starting in the second place position by way of the metric system. Again, SVG will be going to the rear of the field for the start of the race. That moves Justin Allgaier to the outside of row 1 here for this initial start. And Austin Hill, the pole sitter, is elected the inside lane as well for this initial start. My pick here today is going to be Justin Allgaier in the 7. Slippery racetrack, old surface. I think this plays well into the veteran Allgaier's hands. Very well at Richmond this year. Very well at Phoenix. Similarly styled racetracks to this, although he didn't win either of those 2 races. He did win at Darlington, which was a very much slip and slide racetrack. So give me Justin Allgaier for today's win. I have predicted the Xfinity winners the last 2 weeks, taking SVG in both the road races. 6 Xfinity race win picks so far this season in the first 13 races. 14 races, excuse me. So let's try to go 7 for 15 here today. They've added an extra lap to the start here, so they'll be going green this next time by now. So a few extra parade laps in. Not sure why they waved the green off. Very much a packed house for this Xfinity race today. Sold out for the Cup Series race tomorrow. Xfinity Series not new to racing at the Iowa Speedway. They've been doing that for the past couple of decades. Same for the NASCAR Truck Series, although the Truck Series is not there this weekend. Cup in its replacement. Truck Series will be back next week, though, at the Nashville Super Speedway, as it'll be another triple header weekend. 2 live commentary streams in the book so far, both on the Cup Series side. 2 more still to go today. Back on the Xfinity Series side. We had Cup practice and qualifying. Practice was yesterday afternoon. Cup Series qualifying wrapped up a little over an hour ago before the start of this stream here today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Bentley Pops, John Barber, Sid Vick, Billy Kramer, Ethan Chua, Jackson Robinson, Dan Bowers, and others. Welcome into the stream. Pace cars pulling down onto Iowa for the first of 2 races on the NASCAR portion of this weekend. Austin Hill getting a big push off that initial start from the 18 car. His former teammate Sheldon Creed behind him. Great drive off the exit of turn 2 for the outside front row sitter Justin Allgaier. And despite originally starting 4th, he is going to be able to lead the first lap of the race. Sheldon Creed washes way up the racetrack, nearly into that former teammate of Austin Hill. Had to lift. Both drivers going to scrub some speed off on this initial lap. 3 wide on the front stretch, headed down towards turn 1, further back in the top 10. Cole Custer very tightly together with Chandler Smith, door-to-door, near contact made on the bottom of the racetrack. Groove is much more narrowed out with the way the pavement is, especially in turns 1 and 2. A little bit wider through 3 and 4 side of the racetrack than 1 and 2, with the amount of fresh pavement and fresh asphalt laid down compared to the older surface. The very top lane of the racetrack will not be used all weekend, as it is still the very old abrasive surface. We should see more fall off in this Xfinity race today than what we will see in the Cup race tomorrow, although there could be tire issues in tomorrow's Cup race based off of what we saw in practice last night. No major tire issues, at least from the Xfinity Series side of things in their practice session yesterday. One car slipping way up the hill after near contact in the center of turns 3 and 4. It looked like that was Jeremy Clements in the 51. Near contact with Brennan Poole in the 44 car from underneath them. They were 3 wide off turn 4 briefly. Get filed out back in line. Allgaier quickly out to a 0.6 of a second lead, as he has now led the first 4 laps of the race today at Iowa. And more contact off turn 4. This time it was the 38 of Matt DiBenedetto getting into the left rear corner panel of the 29 car, Blaine Perkins. Perkins loses several positions off turn 4. That's in the middle of the pack, just inside the top 20. Ross Chastain already up 9 positions from his 28th starting spot to 19th in the 92 car. Only Cup regular in the field today would be John Hunter Nemechek in the 20 and then Ross Chastain in the 92. So 2 of them, 2 Cup regulars in the field here today. And they've ran several Xfinity races so far this season. Nemechek a few more than Chastain. Lead seems to be closing just a little bit between Austin Hill and Justin Allgaier. Hill slowly running down the 7 car. Difference in between the 2 about Moffitt, who started back alongside Chastain in the same row. Moffitt working his way forward now up to 22nd as he just got by Brennan Poole that last lap. A lot of battling for position still going on. Middle of the pack with some side-by-side racing. Cole Custer door-to-door inside the top 10. Herbst all right there in the picture as well. I see the Yahoo colors on the 26 of Corey Heim. It immediately makes me think it's a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota and not a Sam Hunt Racing Toyota. So it makes me want to think that's like John Hunter Nemechek in the 20, but Nemechek in a white and black color car this weekend. And Nemechek ahead of that battle as he is now currently battling with his other JGR Toyota teammate, Sheldon Creed, for 4th. Big closing rate through turns 1 and 2, that last Gibbs Toyotas, I should say, running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And again, Brett Moffitt started very deep in the field with the way the qualifying metric was. Of course, Moffitt not running every Xfinity race, so he was going to start further towards the back as a result of that. Nobody had to go home early, though, for the Xfinity Series. All 38 entries are the 38 starters for today's race. Nemechek slips to the inside of Sheldon Creed, finally for position, gets by him for 4th. Creed dives in line behind him before getting into turn 3. Battle for 2nd as Hill was closing in on Allgaier. Chandler Smith closes even quicker on Hill. He gets alongside of him on the front stretch and clears him into turn 1. Went to slide up the racetrack, but Hill sneaks to the outside, at least briefly. A big wiggle there by Austin Hill. Not sure if the 81 might have slid up just a little bit off the bottom or that was Hill overdriving the center of the corner, but either way, Chandler Smith is finally clear. And trying to drive away from Hill, who had to lift a little extra in the middle of 1 and 2 that last lap. Now Chandler Smith trying to make a run at Allgaier for the lead. Well, Rubbins racing further back in the top 10 now in a battle for 9th between Corey Heim and Riley Herbst. Herbst all over the left rear corner panel of Heim that last time through turns 1 and 2. Tough to tell if he touched him or not. It definitely looked like he touched him in 3 and 4, loosening him up a little bump and run, and Riley Herbst will take over the 9th place position on the front stretch. Lead down to about a car length and a half or less now between Allgaier and Chandler Smith at the front of the field. Smith with 2 short track racing wins, his only 2 wins so far in 2024 in the Xfinity Series. And his only win last year also came on a short track at Richmond, and his lone win of the year in the 16 at the time for Colleague Racing. So this definitely fits the wheelhouse of Chandler Smith this weekend, one of the favorites alongside Justin Allgaier. And he'll get to the inside of the 7 car this time, lap 15 off turn 2. And into turn 3, Allgaier is going to surrender the lead. Not going to fight hard for it early. He's going to try to take control of his tires, not lose too much more time on the racetrack. And he'll follow in line behind Chandler Smith for the next several laps. No lap traffic yet to be had for the leaders. Chandler Smith to the lead. Our second lead change already in the early going. Again, pole sitter Austin Hill did not lead a lap. Allgaier led the opening lap from the outside of row 1. On that initial start, and Chandler Smith now from the 3rd place starting position has taken the race lead. Austin Hill loses another spot on the racetrack as he falls to 5th place. Sheldon Creed just got by him, and John Hunter Nemechek several laps ago also got by Hill, so the Toyotas are all moving forward. As the 2 Chevys that started up front of Allgaier and Hill are now slowly slipping backwards. Moffitt up to 17th place. And Ross Chastain still stagnated back in 19th, right around where he got off the initial start, is where he has surrendered in the track position battle. Still green through all 18 laps at the Iowa Speedway so far. Again, this race is on the USA Network. Our fast average race pace at this point is 128.53 miles an hour as we stay green from the very get-go. Chandler Smith with a half a second lead over Justin Allgaier at 2nd. John Hunter Nemechek is up to 3rd, 1.1 seconds off the lead. Sheldon Creed 2 seconds back at 4th, and Austin Hill still in 5th is 2.7 seconds off the lead. That is the top 5 in the early going of the HyVee Perks 250 at the Iowa Speedway. Short track racing on a Saturday afternoon for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Very warm day, slick racetrack with an old/new surface. I'm sure the track temp going to be much warmer in the corners with the freshly paved track versus the older version being a lighter gray color compared to just black on that new asphalt. So that could change the handling of the cars quite a bit, as well as going over the bumps of the old surface to the no bumps on the new surface. Candy Cox, Mark Witkowski also welcome into the stream. Looks like Mark taking the 7:39.18 today. Yeah, I've got the 7 of Allgaier to win, and as of right now in the chat poll, 24 votes have been casted in the early going of this race. 54% of you also have Justin Allgaier winning of that poll. No votes for Chandler Smith, who just took the lead. I'm very surprised about that. Of 24 voters, 0 for Chandler Smith. And he does lead now after just passing Allgaier a few laps ago. 12% of the votes going to Austin Hill. 33% somebody other than those three will win, would be that other vote. First commercial break, full screen on the USA Network. We'll take an ad break of our own. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Iowa Speedway. We did take a look at the point standings at the very beginning of this stream here today, and although I already highlighted both the playoff race and the race for the regular season championship, let's look at some of the other leaders and other statistical categories for the NASCAR Xfinity Series season, at least for these Xfinity Series regulars. Right now in the year, Cole Custer actually has the most top 10 finishes, part in which why he is the points leader. 11 top 10s on the year. He's the only one with double-digit top 10s. 11 in those 14 races. He's got 222 laps led, 2 stage wins, only 1 DNF this season for him as well. Justin Allgaier has probably been the fastest driver more often than not on a weekly basis. Is 4th in the points because he has 3 DNFs this season. Most of anybody in the top 5 in the point standings by at least 2 DNFs. He has led the most laps this year with 473 of any Xfinity Series regular, and by far more stage wins than anybody else. 10 stage wins already with just 1 race win for Justin Allgaier. Led some laps early in this race today, trying to bounce back, at least for later. Got a few pit stops still to get through, as we have not had a pit stop yet in this one. Sure, any cautions we get could lead to pit stops with the amount of fall off we'll see in this race. But yeah, 10 stage wins for Allgaier, so he's definitely racking up the playoff points despite only having the 1 race win this year. As far as top 5 finishes on the season go, Austin Hill actually has the most top 5, 7 of them. Tie for second between Chandler Smith and Cole Custer with 6 top 5s on the year. 4 for Allgaier, 3 apiece for Jesse Love and AJ Allmendinger. 5 for Sheldon Creed very quietly this season. Creed's had a very interesting season. He's 4th on the top 10 list, and he's 4th on the top 5 list. No wins, but he's 8th in points. He has 2 DNFs this year, which is more than anybody in the top 6 in points excluding Justin Allgaier. But he's not leading a lot of laps, so his stage finishing results, he's in the back half of the top 10 versus the front half. Only 18 laps led for the driver of the number 18 car. No stage wins as well for Creed this season. So he's getting good finishes. He's not leading a whole lot of laps, and he's not scored as many stage points as those other drivers around him, and that's why he is 8th in the driver standings. And again, only 12 drivers qualify for the Xfinity playoffs. He's 8th in the driver Mayer, who both have at least a win this season, are both behind him in the driver standings. SVG, who just won the last 2 weekends, has now moved up into the top 10 in points, gained 4 spots after last weekend's race at Sonoma, where he was able to score 59 points total, just 1 point off of a potential max points day. Finished second at stage 2, but he won stage 1 and he ended up eventually going on to win the race. 65 laps led for SVG this year. His only stage win of the season would have been last week at Sonoma as well. 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s on the season for him, and what's very impressive for the rookie SVG, only 1 DNF this season, so he is completing all the laps as he continues to get more oval experience like on a short track here today at Iowa. Link and Kim Hollingsworth, thanks for tuning in. There's 2 Kims. There's only 1. At least that's what the name of that channel at least says. All right, during me talk about more in depth on the actual Xfinity drivers and how their seasons have gone so far through the first half of the regular season, over talking about that, Justin Allgaier has now fallen from 2nd to 4th, and it's 1, 2, 3 for the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas at the front of the field. Chandler Smith, John Nemechek, Sheldon Creed. Now, I talked about in qualifying for the Xfinity Series earlier today, and even a little bit in practice for the Cup Series, not the Xfinity Series. So qualified for Cup, practice for Cup already this weekend. We've had 2 live commentary streams. I've stressed so much about how good the Toyotas have been on the short tracks in that series. Well, they've also been very good on the Xfinity Series short tracks as well. Again, John Nemechek with a win early in the season, though that was on an intermediate track. Has had good runs in the slight and few amount of races he has ran in the Xfinity Series on short tracks this year. Chandler Smith has a couple wins on short tracks this season, and Sheldon Creed with a few runner-ups on short tracks this year as well. And of the few laps he has led, they have been on the shorter style racetrack, so good for him in that essence. and having a good early start here. Somebody not having a good early start, bringing out the first caution, is A.J. Allmendinger off of turn 4. He is in the grass. Big hit for Allmendinger, who was running in the top 10 at the time. I think he was right around 6th or 7th place. Definitely has hit the outside wall a ton. And I would imagine Allmendinger's day is going to come to an early end. Lap 35, time of this first caution, just around the halfway mark of stage 1. Again, our first caution of the race.
Well, number 16, maybe Allmendinger is good in the field. They want to get a look at these good years.
The AMR safety crew immediately there to A.J. Allmendinger as he came to a stop in front of the grandstands.
That's what we talked about, DJ, is pace is important, but when you have tire issues, you don't want to be the first guy, right? And it's not the only thing a driver can do is just slow way down, right, to keep it from happening. But this situation just puts everybody in a very, very difficult position. What happened? Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a hard hit, too.
Turn, he's gassed up right there, going hard off the corner, and tire lets go. You can, as a driver from that point, hang on, and hopefully it doesn't hurt. So the question now is, what do you do as a team and a driver to fix this problem? And you're limited on the number of sets of tires that you have in the Xfinity series. How many tires can we put on? It's a heat-related issue. So more air pressure probably ain't going to help this problem. So what is the fix? And the fix, honestly, is pace.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have to back it down a little bit and not be the first guy with a problem.
Jake.
So that was in practice yesterday. 31 laps by Justin Allgaier was the most that anyone ran. This being a heat issue, as we talked about, where the tires are blistering from that point. A blister is something that is hard for a driver at times, Jeff, as you can remember back. Sometimes you don't realize that that's actually happening, and then it's too late, which I'm sure that AJ probably found out there. He thought he might have a problem, but what do? Is it really there? But that was 34 laps right there. We questioned, when are they going to use this set of tires that extra set they were given? Well, now we know it's going to happen right now because you can't take that chance. Yeah, as we got the report from Marty. We have multiple teams were communicating about vibrations, and finally the tire did have a problem. And so now, if you're here's what's confusing, right? If you're one of those drivers that had a vibration but didn't have a tire failure, what do you do the next time you get a vibration? Do you assume you're not going to have another tire failure? It's a very difficult position.
Let's listen in on John Hunter Nemechek and his communication with his team.
I feel like he worked pretty hard. So I think we definitely I kind of reversed and great. Right.
So he's coming. One's coming.
Yeah. I don't see how you could stay out there after that.
20 stayed out.
He stayed out because he's afraid he's going to run out of tires. That's why he stayed. If he knew he had unlimited tires, he'd be fit right now.
You see, Sheldon created that chassis adjustment just way too free. Said the car is good. I just needed stability, but I crashed the throttle. Too free both on entry and exit, Dave.
And this car very good, obviously. 4 fresh Goodyear tires. They are not scuffed, Marty. Austin Hill just way too free. Going to put on some new Goodyears here. And they wanted to get a look at this right front tire. He did not have a vibration, but he could tell. Other people certainly struggling. 4 fresh tires from Austin Hill. No time out to 21.
Race on pit road is won by Chandler Smith. Again, quite a few came to pit road, but there were at least a handful that stayed out. The lineup, and we see issues there. Brandon Joe.
Awesome all year. Seems like he gains at least a few spots on nearly every pit stop that takes place under a caution period, and he gains another couple right here. So back up onto the front row more than likely for this upcoming restart. I would imagine the 81 of Chandler Smith is going to take the outside of row 1, considering that the non-control car in the initial start, Justin Allgaier, was the one who actually got to the lead by getting by the 21 of Austin Hill, who was the driver who was supposed to time that initial start off. John Hunter Nemechek has led one lap today as he had actually stayed out on the racetrack. So although the winner of the race out of the pits was Chandler Smith, it does look like a few drivers had stayed out. And that was because they're going to try to conserve a set of tires in case we get quite a few cautions today, which could happen with the tire failures we've seen this weekend. Again, you can go a little bit longer in these Xfinity Series cars, it seems, in the Cup cars on a run without a failure, which is going to be very interesting in the Cup race tomorrow because that race is 100 laps longer. Therefore, the stages are even longer. And all three, and not like this Xfinity race where a caution right there, they should be able to make it to the end of the stage without another yellow, at least for a tire failure. Definitely an interesting circumstance regarding that. Has made this more of a wild card weekend than most would have expected for both the NASCAR Cup and NASCAR Xfinity Series. Already maybe could have considered it a wild card weekend for the Cup side being the first race at Iowa there, but definitely an interesting start to this one. So top three stayed out of the pits. Fourth one back will have fresh tires for the upcoming restart. You're listening live to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Iowa Speedway on KRC.
Circuit Series, March Series, this weekend, the Cup Series. Taking center stage tomorrow afternoon. Right now, it's the Xfinity Series. That is 59 laps into stage one of this 250-lap race. You can join NASCAR's free rewards program. Start earning points that turn into member-only rewards. You can earn points every time you check in for a race, home or even at the track. Trade them for tickets, choose gear, there's autographed merchandise. Of course, one-of-a-kind race day experiences. Just visit NASCAR.com/fan-rewards. So it was A.J. Allmendinger who was into the wall after the right front went down on his number 16. We saw smoke coming out of the pipes of the 9 of Brandon Jones. He has had to go behind the wall and into the garage.
Ouch.
Kim, what are we hearing about the 9 of Brandon Jones?
Yeah, you mentioned the smoke, and then they had him check all the gauges. At first, the gauges looked okay, but then as he brought it back in, 0 voltage on that Chevrolet of Brandon Jones. Right now, you see him in the garage with the hood up, trying to diagnose exactly what is causing that problem.
Now, voltage wouldn't cause smoke to come out, so that tells me there's something much bigger.
Top 3 stayed out. Nemechek, Clements.
About 35 laps of green flag action on the tires of the top 3 drivers who stayed out of the pit. So who will be the first on fresh tires to get around him on this initial start? John Hunter Nemechek has taken the outside lane of row 1. Inside of row 2 is where Chandler Smith is. He's the front runner of those on the 4 fresh Goodyears. Green flag back in the air. Fairly good launch by the drivers on the old tires, all things considered. Big slide up the racetrack for both Nemechek and the 51. A much bigger slide for Nemechek, and actually it's going to be the 51 of Jeremy Clements coming out with the lead off of turn 2 into 3. A little bit of contact now right around the 18 of Sheldon Creed. He's holding up a whole pack of cars. 3-4 wide now on the front stretch off turn 4. Headed down to turn 1, still nearly 4 wide, and not a lot of that black asphalt to try to work with. Everybody getting stacked up here, all because of the front 3 cars that stayed out of the pits and are on much older tires. Holding up and log jamming a lot of this field. Clements still hanging on to the lead on his old tires at the very front running of this Xfinity Series field. He's led the first 2 laps after the race start. Chandler Smith's in second. Sheldon Creed third, Sam Mayer fourth, and Austin Hill rounds out the top 5 on lap 44. Justin Allgaier, who lost a few spots on the restart in that log jam, now trying to work his way forward. He's battling for 7th on the outside of Riley Herbst in the 98. Get up in front of him. Herbst's going to get split 3 wide off the exit of turn 4. The car's behind him. Ryan Ellis, John Hunter Nemechek going to get by. Nemechek still on those old tires. Hanging on as well as he can as he slides the inside of the 43 car. Big closing rate on the entrance and very much late braking into the corner by that 81 car of Chandler Smith, but as he overdrives the entrance to the corner to try to close on the 51 car, he's losing momentum off the exit of the corner. He can't get back into the throttle as soon as he would like because he carries so much speed in. And in this dirty air, it does seem like that 18 car of Sheldon Creed has closed the gap quite a bit on Chandler Smith as well. So top three pretty tightly nose to tail with one another. Pass for the lead should be coming up here at any moment. Again, 35 lap older green flag tires for that leader, Clements, in the 51. But getting some good screen time out in front of the field right now. And on what is a primarily one groove racetrack with the repave in the corners, doing a good job holding on. 81 slips to the inside in turns 1 and 2. Off the exit of turn 2, though, he can't stay underneath him. Back to the inside again in 3 and 4 with another shot at the lead. Clement's going to give him that inside lane. A little low in the center of the corner. The left side tire is definitely all over that white line. Clements led that lap at the line as well. Chandler Smith going to clear on the entry into 1. Slides up in front of the 51. So Chandler Smith back out into the lead on the back stretch. And Sheldon Creed underneath the 51 of Clements for second place. Sam Mayer right in line behind him, drops to the inside. Got held up on the outside behind Clements in the middle, 3 and 4 before ducking to the bottom in the center of the corner. Creed's easily clear for second. Mayer clear for third. Clements finally starting to go backwards. John Hunter Nemechek fired off pretty well. He fell behind initially on that restart, had that slip up in 1 and 2 as they were getting up to speed. He's now back to the inside of Jeremy Clements looking for fourth. So maybe not seeing as much of a difference in the fall off of tires as would have expected, considering that John Hunter Nemechek is really only running about 0.3 of a second off his fastest laps of the race. His fastest lap was back on lap 12. Now the question is for Nemechek is, can he make it to the end of the stage without the tire blistering? Is the next question. Interesting call to keep him and Clements out there. I think this is going to work maybe even more for Clements. He might have a shot to seal some stage points as we have less than 25 laps to go in stage 1.
And Allgaier's picked up 3 positions since the restart. For Chandler Smith, the new leader of the race. Here's what he said to him on the radio.
I know when you look at where all the rubber that was on the racetrack,
Chief Jeff Mendering told me this morning, yesterday, the tires that came off the car were as hot as he's ever seen them. And we didn't have any blistering, so we didn't scuff. So far, it's working out for Chandler Smith.
Chandler Smith trying to pull away from the field now as he has a little over a half a second lead over Sheldon Creed, who's moved up to second. Sam Mayer to third. John Hunter Nemechek fourth. Jeremy Clements has fallen back to the 5th spot.
So, Jeff, as we look at this and we talk about, so there wasn't much fall off, and we see John Hunter Nemechek be able to stay up there. He has an extra set of tires, but is that really going to be an advantage if he gets when others don't?
it's only an advantage if it's tire failures, right? And you're putting on tires to keep having a tire failure. But the point you made earlier that Steve made, he's hanging out in the booth with us. He can't talk because he has laryngitis.
Yeah.
But he's hanging out with us, and the point that he made was, hey, like when you put a heat cycle on the tires, sometimes they last longer. So be interested to see if we out, knowing that that caution came out because someone had a tire failure.
He's a team player. You mentioned Steve. Yep, he's over there. Wave, Steve. He can't talk, but he's got whiteboards, so he's giving us some notes.
And he dressed for the occasion.
He did, dressed up just in case.
Impressive.
But yeah, tough day yesterday. Couldn't get through both practices, so we're giving him the day off today. He'll be back for the race tomorrow.
Yeah, I only agreed to do this because he said he'd give me a couple of golf lessons.
But you ought to take him up on that. Not that you're bad, but he's really good at this.
Brett Moffitt in the 19th.
18 laps to go at stage 1. Again, in the booth today, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Burton, and Rick Allen. Steve Letard on standby, of course. Again, he has laryngitis, sounds like. It was definitely rough trying to listen to him during the Cup Series broadcast yesterday with practice, and it was just Jeff Burton and Rick Allen in the booth for the qualifying session for the Cup Series a little bit ago. About an hour before the start of our Xfinity Series race coverage today. Side-by-side commercial break. Keep wanting to say FS1. But USA Network again for the Xfinity Series coverage this afternoon, and it will be the same for the Cup schedule. And it'll actually be the same for the Cup schedule on both USA and NBC for the rest of the season. Xfinity Series for the next several months will be on the USA and NBC networks. But the final 8 races for the Xfinity Series this year, so last race of the regular season and all of the 7 Xfinity Series playoff races will be on the CW network later this year. And of course, CW taking over the Xfinity Series scheduling in full starting in 2025 through the next 7 years of that TV contract. A 1.3 second lead on track right now for Chandler Smith over his teammate Sheldon Creed. Sam Mayer is 3rd. John Hunter Nemechek 4th. 5th place for Cole Custer. Justin Allgaier 6th. Jeremy Clement 7th. Sammy Smith 8th. Riley Herbst 9th. And Brett Moffitt is 10th. That is the top 10 in the running order. And the top 10 here in the HyVee Perks 250 at the Iowa Speedway. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more NASCAR content if you have not done so yet. Listening live to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Iowa Speedway, the HyVee Perks 250. Any day that ends in Y is a good day for racing. I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's a good saying right there. I should start saying that. I'm going to steal that from you if you don't mind, Mark. Mike G, also welcome into the stream. I see you in the chat as well. The poll that is open in the chat will close at the end of Stage 2 per usual. We'll have our diecast showing at the end of Stage 2 also. 37 votes have been casted so far. 43% of you say somebody other than Austin Hill, Chandler Smith, or Justin Allgaier will win today's race. Austin Hill with 11% of the votes, only 5% for Chandler Smith, and 39% of you saying that Allgaier will get the win here today. End of Stage 2 will be lap 150, so 100 laps to go in this race. Is when that poll will close. Down to just 12 laps to go in Stage 1 right now. Lead is starting to widen out quite a bit between Smith and Creed at the front of the field. Chandler Smith ran his fastest lap of the race about 11 laps ago, middle of the green flag run at lap 56. Same for Sheldon Creed in second as well. That fastest lap of the race was a 23.341. Last lap for Chandler Smith was about a 23.078. And Sheldon Creed was actually a couple hundredths quicker than the race leader, at least the last lap by. That fast lap by Chandler Smith was also the fastest lap anybody has ran so far today. Cole Custer going to get by on the outside of John Hunter Nemechek, who's on those slightly older tires. Nemechek's falling back to the 7th place position, as he had stayed out of the pits, one of the few that did. We'll have that extra set of tires, if needed, for the final stage. Jeremy Clements, who also stayed out of the pits, is still in the top 10. Still in the top 10 as well. He's currently in 9th. Trying to hang on. See if he can get something out of it. He's now back to 10th. Corey Heim just passed him the last lap. And another pass on the racetrack between Joe Gibbs Toyotas. This one a battle for 8th. No longer a battle. Brett Moffitt has passed the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek. So Moffitt's up 22 positions for the start of the race. He started 29th with qualifying getting washed out earlier, so he didn't get to try to make a run. This is his first start in the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Race Series. Trying to make the most of it. We've seen several winners in part-time efforts for the Xfinity Series this year. Most of them in the 20 car and not the 19, but wins on the year. John Hunter Nemechek, Eric Almirola, Ryan Truex. All in part-time efforts. I think the only part-timer that hasn't won in that car this season is Ty Gibbs. But splitting between several different drivers in that extra JGR ride. Sammy Smith has quietly broken into the top 5 for the first time today as well. Sammy is in the 5th place position, a little more than 5 seconds off the lead. Austin Hill falling way back in the running order during this run. No longer in the top 10 is Hill. And in fact, outside the top 20, currently 21st for Austin. Caution's out on the racetrack, second of the day. And it looks like the 27 of Jeb Burton has hit the outside wall. And that had taken place in turns 1 and 2. Flat right front tire for Jeb Burton. So it didn't quite make it to the end of the stage. Just about 3 laps to go in stage 1 when the caution flag came out. And right front tire failure for Jeb Burton.
It's scuffed up, but it's not it hit anywhere near like AJ hit. See the right rear. It hit hard.
Parts of that tire coming apart. Let's take another look. But we've mentioned this new repave. There's so much heat being held in these tires.
So Jeb's on the straight, and it blows right there. And that's, look, it's never a good time to blow a right front, but if you're going to blow one, that's where you want to blow it because you're already against the wall. You can't turn the car. The car just quits turning, and he was, fortunately for him, he was already against it. Still damaged the car for sure, but from the impact for the driver, that's much better. Just doesn't hit as hard.
With this caution coming out, it looks like only two laps to go in the stage, so this will probably end stage 1. Kim, what about AJ Allmendinger? How's he doing now out of the infield care center?
Yeah, AJ Allmendinger having a tire failure. The first we saw of the day. Was the car giving you any feedback to indicate that there was a problem?
Well, I mean, not really. The Circle Chevy started building a little tight, but it wasn't kind of out of the realm of like being super tight. When I ran the bottom, I was tighter, even though there's more rubber down there. So I thought running the top was kind of helping the tire. We had some speed up there. I found a good line, so starting to gain on that next group of cars. But end of the day, disappointing. But can't thank all the men and women at College Racing enough. We're 16 group. We're having a tough time, so it'd be easy to quit and just kind of give up on the year. But we got plenty of racing left and some good tracks coming up. So we'll fight, regroup, and be ready again next week.
Yeah, AJ Allmendinger currently 8th in the point standings as far as the playoff standings, but this will be difficult to come back from after finishing 37th.
And that was a break for the 21, right? He was talking about having an issue, Austin Hill, so that gets him to the end of the stage. Also, John Hunter Nemechek, who stayed out. The 51 of Clemens, who stayed out. They did get to the end of the stage without having to use that set of tires.
Nemechek actually finished in the top 10 with that 9th place finish as they're getting ready to come across the stripe here for the end of stage 1. And this will be Chandler Smith getting the win. It's his 4th stage win already of 2024. Creed finishing 2nd. And on down with the top 10 of stage 1. AJ Allmendinger was the first casualty of the tires, and we made it all the way to the end of stage 1.
So Chandler Smith is your stage 1 winner, ending under caution. 3 laps to go on the stage when the right front tire failed on Jeb Burton's number 27 Chevrolet. Sheldon Creed 2nd in the stage, Sam Mayer 3rd, Justin Allgaier 4th, Sammy Smith 5th. So 2 Toyotas, 3 Chevys in the top 5. Cole Custer, the only 4th in the top 10, at 6th at the end of the stage. Brett Moffitt moved his way up to 7th. Corey Heim 8th. John Hunter Nemechek 9th. Jesse Love rounds out the top 10. 1 point per position and a playoff point going to Chandler Smith. Dawson Cram will get the free pass in 28 to get back on the lead lap with this stage yellow. Well, technically, it'd be the incidental caution for Jeb Burton. It runs into the end of stage 1, so no additional caution for the stage end here. On the lap 33, caution for the right front tire failing on AJ Allmendinger. That gave the 29 car Blaine Perkins the free pass at that yellow. So Perkins got the free pass on the lap 33 caution. And this lap 72 caution, it'll be Dawson Cram getting back on the lead lap. So again, pit stops will be coming up here very shortly. Listening live on KRC to the HyVee Perks 250 at the Iowa Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Bad Year Tires 250. There we go. Yeah. How about that? Cook Like a Pro, thanks for tuning in. Jeremy Granger Jr., Frank Powers, also welcome to the stream. Some of the newcomers over the recent minutes, recent laps of this race. 29 likes on the stream. Our usual goal is 100 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series live commentary stream. So again, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. And subscribe for more NASCAR content.
One. One chance. Take one is complete, and the road will be open now as they're doing a little bit of track cleaning in turns 3 and 4. And the day has turned out to be a beautiful one as the clouds have moved out of the way, sun shining down on this crowd. Eager and anxious to watch racing once again as far as the Xfinity Series and tomorrow's Cup Series race, the first time here at Iowa Speedway. The Xfinity Mobile view of Justin Allgaier as they get ready to come to pit road. Led by Chandler Smith on pit road, heading toward our pit reporters. Kim, we'll start with you.
Let's start with Sheldon Creed at the top there, the number 18. Still having the same problem. Needs more security on entry and exit. Just way too free. You see another chassis adjustment there. Four fresh tires, Goodyear fuel. And Dave, he said it picks up rubber. It gets really greasy. That's the biggest problem for Sheldon Creed.
A lot of drivers talking about that, but the driver of the 81 is not concerned about his tires, talking about the racing line. So, Marty, no adjustments to that car. So far today, Sam Mayer, the tires have looked good. He complained about a little bit of brake pain on his front. They pull a piece of tape off at the very last second to get some more cooling to the brakes. Also a little too tight on exit for Sheldon Creed. And Chandler Smith hold serve here on pit road, Greg.
Yeah, top two, Chandler Smith and Sheldon Creed able to hold their top 2 spots. Cole Custer gaining 3 spots on pit road.
Biggest mover in the pits of those in the top 10 was Riley Herbst, who moves up to 8th place after not finishing in the top 10 in stage 1. He gains 5 positions in the pits, and a few others gaining multiple positions in the top 10 as well. Chandler Smith wins the race off pit road once again. Second time he's been able to do that during the first 2 pit stops, both under caution. And we'll begin stage 2 on the other side of this commercial break on the USA Network. Again, you're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series at the Iowa Speedway. And stage 2 to secure your votes in the chat. Pretty tight poll, at least between the top 2 options of Justin Allgaier or other to win the race. That other would be somebody other than Allgaier, Smith, Chandler Smith specifically, or Austin Hill to win. Austin Hill with 12% of the votes so far, 8% for Chandler Smith. So that is the voting poll update as we are about to begin stage 2 here at the Iowa Speedway. Got the free pass. So they'll be on older tires for the race start. They'll save a set here. Wonder how that'll work out for them. Again, we've had 2 right front tire failures in this race already, bringing out our first 2 cautions, and both about 30 to 35 laps of green flag racing in before those failures happened. So we'll have to monitor that again with the heat in the racetrack. Tire fast and slick racetrack. Hot asphalt in the corners with a very high track temps. Largely the reasoning for these tire failures we've seen this weekend. We didn't see as many in the Xfinity race yesterday because they were able to, or in practice for the Xfinity Series yesterday, because they were able to go longer into a run before having a tire failure. But now you're starting to see it unfold here in the race where you're able to get more laps consecutively in before a stoppage. And in the Cup race tomorrow, we might even have less time period between then.
Thank you.
So far it's been, it's kind of like our missions and right sides, but yeah, I think we got a really good balance. Taylor's doing a good job managing it. But we can keep it watching these in front.
Yeah, it is a short track after all, Rick.
Oh, yeah. Success for Chandler Smith. 2 wins already in 2024. Getting ready to choose. So comes choose arrow after they cross the start-finish line. Chandler looks like he was drifting down, but he'll stay up top and restart on the high side. It's Sheldon Creed in the 18. his wife Cammie's birthday today. So after Sheldon Creed and DJ, I don't want to bring up bad memories, but he's getting close to tying you as far as number of second place finishes before a win. You had 10. He's had 9 second place finishes already in his career.
Yeah, there's some days that second place is okay.
Yeah.
But when it starts adding up and you get the double digits, then you got to kind of look at things. So fortunately, we were able to hold it at that, and things went on. But he keeps putting himself in position. It's going to happen. He's going to get a win.
Marty, how about the 21?
We talked about how he thought he had a right front coming apart. Look at that right front for Austin Hill. There's one, several blisters all the way around the tire. Jeff, Andy Street, as crew chief, said, I have no choice but to go up on air pressure for the rest of the day. Will that help this problem if they start with a higher air pressure? Yeah, the thought is the higher air pressure sometimes can't help, but it will hurt the performance of the car. It's not a compromise that the crew chief wants to make.
Lap 8 in Stage 2 and lap 83 overall in this 250 lap race as we begin the second stage for green flag laps as we're underway. Side-by-side battle for the lead off into the first turn between the two Toyotas, Sheldon Creed and Chandler Smith. And the second time on the inside of a front row in the restart, Sheldon Creed goes way up the racetrack, nearly makes contact with another car, now has more contact at 3 and 4. Cars banging off one another as they're 3 and 4 wide in the center of the corner. 5 wide nearly off the exit of turn 4, even just behind that battle of cars. Top 4 have broken away from the rest of the field. 5th on back battle in a scrum. Side by side for the lead on the second lap following the restart between Cole Custer and Chandler Smith. Smith on that outside lane was able to hold on to the lead in front of Custer. Custer moves to the outside through 3 and 4, trying to get a better run on the front stretch as he has heavy pressure from Sammy Smith in third behind him. And looking to the inside of Sammy Smith is Riley Herbst for third. Still 3x3 racing back in that pack of cars in the back half of the top 10. Maybe even just beyond that, outside the top 10, a lot of those drivers run. So they try to get organized after bunching up for the 2x2 double file restart. Chandler Smith has led the first couple laps into this run. 10 laps complete in Stage 2 in total, 3 now under green. So we'll monitor that, obviously, as we get deeper into this race. And into this green flag run specifically if we don't get a caution before that. So we restarted lap 8 of the stage, so we'd have to get to about lap 38 of the stage to have a 30-lap green flag run. Off into turns 1 and 2. Up on the exit of the corner. Still a little bit of a gap between the 4th and 5th place cars. Oh, trouble. Back straightaway, a couple cars tangling together. Shane Van Gisbergen is involved in it. And SVG had gotten up against the outside wall. Might have had some help. This will be our third caution of the day, all for incident. And our first caution in Stage 2. Spinning down the backstretch, we'll see if SVG can continue. He's only had 1 DNF this season. In his first 14 career Xfinity Series races, the window net is already down on the race car, and that may signal that his day is done. Didn't look like there was too much cosmetic damage to the body. Maybe he'll be climbing out. We'll have to wait and see. And he is climbing out. So that means Shane Van Gisbergen's day is going to come to an end. We'll see how this incident took place under the replay. Middle of turns 1 and 2, car just slipped out from underneath him. Got loose and then made an overcorrection into the 29 of Blaine Perkins, who was on his outside at the time. They slammed together, and then nosing into the wall after the fact was SVG. Pretty hard hit by pancaking the wall on the right side of the car by Perkins. Everybody else was able to break and evade the spinning 97 car in the backstretch and keep from running into the back of Perkins, who was also coming down the track after pancaking the wall on the outside of the race surface. So a 2-car incident there about 4 or 5 laps into the restart. Again, Blaine Perkins and Shane Van Gisbergen tangle together after SVG gets loose in a side-by-side battle. Both cars, I believe, were outside the top 20. Actually, SVG took the wave around. So he was on older tires in that restart. Perkins would have been on fresher tires, and maybe those older tires maybe hurt SVG a little bit on the handling side of things, and that's what caused the slip-up. That and the lack of experience, I'm sure, on ovals could have caused it as well. Tough weekend for SVG. He wrecked his primary car yesterday. Had to pull the backup car with the different sponsors on it here. And now that's being towed back to the garage as well. Didn't have high hopes for him going for 3 wins in a row into the weekend after winning the last 2, but this is certainly going to end that theory. Patrick Emerly in the 28th place position will get the free pass with the caution, and he will be back on the lead lap. We only had about 5 or 6 green flag laps before the yellow there, so I'd imagine most of the field will stay out to conserve a set of tires. And even those that stayed out and have that extra set, I'm sure they're going to save it for the final stage rather than here for stage 2. Especially considering they'll lose quite a bit of track position if they were to pit now. There's 3 cars that stayed out earlier were Nemechek, Ellis, and Clements. All in the top 20 right now, so I doubt that they'll pit. But all outside the top 10. All 3 of them. Yeah, a lot of contact on that restart. Sheldon Creed has not been great on the restart so far today. He slipped up not once but twice on the inside lane, gets up into a car on the outside. They both stack up the field. Almost a carbon copy of how both of them happened. That one may have stacked the field up even more behind him than what the earlier restart did when Creed had his mess up. But we are under caution again for the second time. First time, sorry, in stage 2, our third time total in the race. Also have our diecast showing at the end of stage 2, showing off the 1/64 scale diecast now on my old collection. I haven't bought any of those in a while. They're all from my kid years. For the most part, they are growing up, so showed a few of them off already this week out the live commentary streams. Showed off during the qualifying stream earlier, Denny Hamlin 2010 FedEx Express Toyota Camry from the Car of Tomorrow years, and then I showed off a 2013 Carl Edwards Fastenal Ford, number 99, during last night's Cup practice stream. So we'll wait and see which one we'll have today for the Xfinity Series race stream. Full screen commercial break during our first caution of stage 2. You're listening live to the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Iowa Speedway. Sheldon Creed trying to sweep the stages today. That 4th-stage win of the year tied him for the second most with Jesse Love, still 6 behind Justin Allgaier for the most overall on the year. "34 likes on the stream right now as well. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Again, our goal is to try to get to 100. And this buys more laps on these tires with this caution coming out. I mean, the inevitable by way of green flag laps, more than likely is going to happen, but kind of get the green flag laps in to be able to have that happen, or potentially happen anyway. Back from the commercial break now. And this is a 7/8 mile short track out in the plains of the state of Iowa in the Midwest. Not a new track for these Xfinity Series cars. Brandon Jones, who had an engine failure earlier, standing in the garage with Kim Kuhn.
Here, right? We come out here and we're one of the fastest cars on the racetrack again, and another mechanical failure. I think over half our race has been over mechanical failures, so we just we gotta try to stop some of this stuff from happening. I know things happen, they're all man-made race cars, but at the end of the day, it's gonna hurt our season, right? And we're gonna be in a pretty much must-win situation here pretty soon if we don't continue to get this stuff kind of fixed up on our end. So I hate it for Polonus. I hate it for Menards. Like I said, I enjoy racing on this new surface that Iowa has put together for us. Just right there, broke a valve. I don't really, even know how it happened. Honestly, we were in a kind of a tight situation on pit road. And I had to use the motor a little bit harder to spin it around, but nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing, over revved or anything. So I don't know how that would have happened, but we'll get it back to the shop, I guess, and diagnose it, and we'll try to go win the next 2.
he mentioned.
He was below the cutoff line on points. In fact, minus 30 on his teammate Sammy Smith coming into the day. The points as they show right now have him minus 77 the way this run goes, with Sammy Smith in the third place position. Obviously, that means that he is over a full race worth of points out of that last playoff spot. Still 11 races to go in the regular season after today. And also, this is now the 6th DNF of the year for Brandon Jones. 6 DNFs in the first 15 races. That's over 1 DNF every 3 races on average. By far, it's the most DNFs in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this season. I was just kind of looking at who was even close around him. I don't even think anybody else in the series was at 5 coming into the day, and now he has 6. So, yeah, tough. Tough break. A lot of DNFs for Junior Motorsports this year as a whole, because he had 5. Sam Mayer had 4, which is why he was off to a rough stretch earlier in the year, but he got his win at Texas. 3 even for Justin Allgaier, and a 7 who's had a lot of speed this year, but hasn't been able to seal the deal more often than not. Whether it is unlucky situations, which seems to be more often than not the go for overall as an organization. Sammy Smith still yet to go to victory lane. Although arguably one of his best races, at least through the first nearly 100 laps of this one, as he is again in the third place spot, highest running Chevy in this race. The only Chevy in the top 5 here is Dave Burns now with SVG.
Top me, and they just stayed out, got back in the lead lap, getting more and more confidence, and just got loose and tried to sort of spin in the middle, and someone collected me. So yeah, my fault again. Gutted for the Ford Racing guys. 2 cars ruined there, and yeah, Kubota, Chevrolet. Thanks for everyone supporting us, but yeah, just gutted to do that again.
What boxes did you check off on the positive side for your short track program?
That's the first time we've crashed out of a race, really. So
That's not the positive.
no, it's gutting, but yeah, learned a lot all weekend, and we actually had some speed yesterday, which was cool. So yeah, but the car today a little bit difficult. So try again next week.
Difficult weekend for this true pro, guys.
Yeah.
Only the second DNF of the year for SVG. First by way of really a wreck of his own doing here this season. Solid rookie campaign so far for the Xfinity Series, and again, a couple wins to boot in the last couple weeks as well on his special expertise. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. His expertise on the road courses, and he'll have a few more still to go in the summer months as well. You got Watkins Glen in August. Got next month, of course, you have Chicago. Roval in the fall during the playoffs, so can rack up a few more wins yet this year. I think the Xfinity Series has the Road America yet this season as well, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. They might not be going to Road America this year. Pace car down onto pit road. Will be going green this time. Sammy Smith actually on the inside of row 1 here, staying really tight on the door of the 81. Chandler Smith as they get through the restart zone. Pretty good launch for Chandler on the outside. Not quite clear yet, at least on the entry into turn 1 on the 8 underneath him. No major slip up into the first turn on the restart this time. Mostly side by side through the field. A little bit of 3 wide further back into turn 3. Big move by the 26 of Corey Heim as he makes a pass, slides up, does make a little bit of contact with the car to his outside. And another one almost squeezed into the wall. That looked like it was the 21 of Austin Hill, who nearly got pinched into the wall off turn 4. Now there's some sliding going on in turns 1 and 2 on the other end of the racetrack as we are more than a lap into the restart. There's that battle for the lead between Sammy Smith and Chandler Smith. The Smiths, no relation between the two, battling for the lead here. Sammy got up into Chandler a little bit. Hurt the drive off of Sammy Smith, allowed for Cole Custer to get by on the outside. He splits the two Smiths now for second. Sam Mayer on the inside of Ross Chastain. And how about Chastain quietly in the top 5 for the first time today? He's moving forward in the 92 in the Mario Gosling Chevrolet. Riley Herbst down on the white line, gets up into the left rear corner panel of Sam Mayer. Mayer gets very loose after the contact, loses several positions as he got split 3 wide middle off of turn 4. Justin Allgaier back in traffic, as well as Sheldon Creed on this restart, both outside the top 10. Battle for the lead between Cole Custer and Chandler Smith. Custer looking to the outside. Got very tight off turn 4. In the wake of the dirty air behind Chandler Smith, had to lift in a bad spot off the corner, lost about 3 or 4 car lengths on the front stretch. Has to work to try to get that ground back, and Sammy Smith is now breathing down his neck for that second place position again. Sheldon Crate and Justin Allgaier still battling for position on the restart. Again, both drivers outside the top 10, currently 11th and 12th. 7 in front of the 18 slightly. Chastain holding up Brett Moffitt in the 19 cars. They run nose to tail in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Jesse Love also right behind the two of them. Will push down the backstretch from the 19 to the 92. Chastain carries a lot of speed and lifts quite a bit in the center of the corner. Moffitt all over his back bumper. I mean, he was basically pushing him all the way off the exit of turn 4. Finally slips by, gets around him, sails it off into turn 1 and 2. Moffitt clear, and Brett Moffitt's up to 4th place. Moffitt has never won in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He's a former Cup Series Rookie of the Year and a former NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. A lot of wins in the Truck Series to boot as well. But in his first start to JGR Toyota in the Xfinity Series, trying to have some solid runs put together here. He did qualify for the playoffs a few years ago in the Hour Motorsports Chevrolet team in the Xfinity Series, but has never won a race at this level. I believe Moffitt just over 30 years of age. Unscheduled pit stop for Parker Retzlaff in the 31. More problems for Jordan Anderson racing today. Jeb Burton had the flat right front tire at the end of stage 1. And now an unscheduled pit stop on the 31 for Parker Retzlaff. And they are very slow in jacking up the right side of the car there. And there's one crew member going into the window on the right side of the race car as well. Again, no windows on the right side of the cars here with this being a short track. And Retzlaff actually is climbing out. Retzlaff looks to be a little bit shaken up or under power there. Not sure exactly what the situation was. Couldn't listen to the audio at that time. Parker Retzlaff is now done for the day as he has hopped out of his race car after coming to pit road during the middle of this green flag run in the middle of stage 2. About halfway done with the second stage right now. Custer trying to rebound on the 81 of Chandler Smith once again. Again, Custer has not won yet this season. And we talk about it in the Cup Series a lot, but the Xfinity Series program for SHR is also shutting down at the end of the year. So Custer, the defending Xfinity champion, looking to get back into a ride. He's a one-time Cup Series race winner. He won at Kentucky back in 2020. In the final race at that speedway in the Cup Series. That was in his rookie campaign. Ran 3 full-time seasons before jumping back into Xfinity Series full-time. Won a bunch of races in the Xfinity Series before going to Cup Series racing full-time. We know he's got the talent to do so. Maybe he's just trying to build up that confidence once more in the Xfinity Series level, and I'm sure winning the title has helped him there, and we'll see if he can find himself back in the Cup Series in an open ride next year. Charter's going to be available, but there's only so many spots that are going to be open, because obviously we know that there's going to be 4 drivers that are already in the Cup Series looking to stay there, and you got this Xfinity Series program shutting down. There's going to be 2 less Ford teams there, so definitely interesting development there in the situation for Cole Custer's future career, but trying to go for back-to-back Xfinity titles, sure that'll... You'd have to imagine back-to-back Xfinity titles will surely land him a Cup ride. Once again, as he tries to have a resurgence in the NASCAR ranks. I'd say already has. Just needs more of an opportunity. Sammy Smith is caught back up to Custer. Smith does look quicker. Right? Custer was gaining on the 81 and Chandler Smith there for quite some time. Now he's over 2 seconds off the lead. Sammy Smith's going to slip underneath him. Custer flirting with the edge of the black asphalt on the entrance of turns 1 and 2. Sammy Smith taking a lot of that bottom lane. Forcing the 0-0 in a tight situation there on the outside. Custer gets a slightly better drive off in that outer lane, though, and he's able to pull clear again on the 8. As the battle for second heats up, Brett Moffitt from fourth is closing in on both of these drivers up in front of him. And Chandler Smith in the 81, again, is now over 2.5 seconds out in front as he tries to win his third short track race of the season and his third win in the Xfinity Series this year. It'd be the most in the series if he can get it done. So get to the end of stage 2 here first. And we've had almost 30 green flag laps on these tires with the 5 or so green flag laps we had before the early caution in the stage for the SVG and Blaine Perkins incident. And where we are right now on lap 40 in stage 2. So gonna have to be a development here over the next 5 to 10 laps as to if we are going to be able to stay green long enough. About 10 laps shy of the halfway mark overall in the race today. And 250 laps scheduled distance, just over 218 miles total distance on this race as well. A NASCAR nonstop side-by-side commercial break on the USA Network will go through the full field running order for the first time in the race today at lap 116. Again, Chandler Smith with a 3.1 second lead over Sammy Smith in second. Cole Custer's in the third place spot. Brett Moffitt, fourth. And Jesse Love, the rookie, in fifth. Ross Chastain, the highest Cup regular, at sixth. The other Cup regular, John Hunter Nemechek, is seventh. Riley Herbst 8th, Justin Allgaier back up to 9th, and Sam Mayer rounds out the top 10 in 10th. Corey Heim has slipped back to 11th, Sheldon Creed back to 12th. Parker Kligerman quietly in 13th, Ryan Sieg 14th, and Austin Hill is surrendered back in 15th. Daniel Dye, after starting last, is up to 16th in the Colleague Racing number 10 Chevrolet. Ryan Ellis is 17th, Leland Honeyman 18th, Brandon Poole 19th, and Matt DiBenedetto 20th. Jeremy Clements was top 10 at the end of stage 1. He's 21st here in stage 2. Josh Williams, also in the Colleague Chevrolet, is 22nd. Kyle Sieg, 23rd. Anthony Alfredo, 24th. And Patrick Emerly is 25th. Last car on the lead lap is Dawson Cram and Joey Gase, 26th, 27th. David Starr, first car lap down in 28th. Haley Deegan, 29th. And Garrett Smithley is 30th. Jeb Burton, after hitting the walls 5 laps down in 31st. Parker Retzlaff just pulled out of the race moments ago. 15 laps down in 32nd. Kyle Weatherman, 33rd, also pulled off the track some time ago. Shane Van Gisbergen and Blaine Perkins both DNF'd after their incident. SVG finishing 34th, Blaine Perkins 35th. Brandon Jones will finish 36th after his engine failure during the stage 1 break earlier. Actually, it was during the first caution of stage 1 where the engine failure happened for Brandon Jones. AJ Allmendinger crashed in that wreck, ends up finishing 37th, and Glenn Reen had actually pulled off the racetrack, only completed 1 lap today. 20 laps today, finishes in last in the 53 car. So that's the full field running order. 93 laps led and counting so far for Chandler Smith. Make that 94 laps and counting. He's led 2 different times. We've had 4 different drivers lead at least 1 lap in this race today. And we have had 5 lead changes amongst those 4 different leaders. 7 laps led for Jeremy Clements on a restart on those old tires. Austin Hill started on the pole, did not lead a lap. John Hunter Nemechek led 4 laps during caution. 14 laps led at the very start of the race. The first 14 laps for Justin Allgaier. And Chandler Smith has led a ton. Again, 96 laps led and counting. Well on his way to domination in this race, and nobody can catch him on strategy or, tire roulette game or anything of that nature here going forward.
Close call for both drivers.
Experience.
Corey Heim just in front of it. Let's take another look at that one at 98.
Let's see what happens here. So this is first thing, guy gets squeezed into the wall. Didn't seem to bother him any there. Kept speed. Here making, oh, no, he did. He had a little issue right there getting into the corner. We have Salton.
07 round, and Patrick Hemmerling brings out this caution. 4th caution of the day. You heard him say, fire it up. He was running 25th. Just on the inside of the 5 of Anthony Alfredo. He's trying to refire it.
Yeah, so many times. Yeah, so many times when you spin, I don't know why, but they don't fire back up. It takes, 30 seconds or so. I don't know what happens. I never did understand that. These, but it takes a while for them to fire up. In many occasions, it may fire up ultimately. The crew chief's slider's yelling, "Let's get going! Let's get going!" I'm trying. Switches it over. I'm turning it over. It won't go. He does not want to get out of the car. He wants to get a push. Maybe they can roll start it.
So Sam Mayer, who currently is running in the 11th spot, just in front of Riley Herbst. Let's listen to him.
Well, I mean, I think we saw from the replay, or what I saw, I thought he really tried to drive it in there and was just going to try to clear himself basically and move up and carry the speed. But he actually got loose and he had to correct his car, and that's what got him up in that position to begin with.
Burned up, temperature, kind of racetrack day. You know what I mean? Everybody's aggression's way up, so it's going to be managing it of being aggressive, not stepping on your toes, right? Like, I tried to aggressive clear you there, like he hung on you. We tried to slide you, like the whole thing, right? Everybody just seems like they're pissed. Pit road's open here.
That was spotter Kevin Hamlin, and he said exactly what you just said, DJ. He was wanting him to slide him, get real aggressive on corner entry. Question is, do you pit here?
We should ask our crew chief. He's shaking his head no, because he can't speak.
Well, we haven't seen any tire issues lately, so see one car coming, several behind him, but teams getting more comfortable that tires can run the distance.
A few cars did make their way onto pit road, including Parker Kligerman. Kim?
And Parker was reporting a very significant vibration as crew chief Patrick Donahue said, "Is it just a chatter?" He said, "No, there is something wrong." So he did bring Parker down. There are scuffs going on this race car right now, Marty.
So here's the deal. If they're going to put on stickers here, Cam, you see Brett Moffitt, bottom right of your screen, Austin Hill, bottom left of your screen. Putting on stickers here leaves you one set for the rest of the race, and there's 24 to go here in stage 2. So an interesting move. And also of note, for both Austin Hill and Brett Moffitt, they did report vibrations on the last run.
And Brett Moffitt from 7th, that was the first car to come onto pit road. We'll see how it ends up working out for him as we get ready for the restart.
Under caution after a spin from the 07 to Patrick Emmerly. As a result of this yellow, this is now the 4th one of the race, all for incident. And we are going to restart with very few laps to go in stage 2. We'll have right around the ballpark of 20 laps to go in the second stage when we get back to racing here. A few drivers pitted to take on fresh tires. Free pass goes to the 14 of David Starr to get back on the lead lap, so we'll have 27 cars on the lead lap there before the end of the stage. We had another race knowing that we are guaranteed at least one more caution with the stage 2 end. Chandler Smith is your race leader as of right now over Sammy Smith in second. Full screen commercial break on the USA Network. Again, you're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at the Iowa Speedway. Ronald Jones, Dark Crypto, thanks for tuning in. Had to step away there for a second. I actually missed the incident, but I had heard it. The broadcast had to take a quick bathroom break there for a second. So I'll let you listen into a little more of the commentary there. I will have to refill my water at some point, too, before the end of this one. All I had left in it was the melted ice. So, let you listen into more of the audio at some point again here a little later on. I'm about halfway home. $39 likes on the stream right now as well, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. So we try to get as close to 100 as we can here before the end of this stream. Live commentary for tomorrow night's NASCAR Cup Series race will begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, again under the lights at the Iowa Speedway tomorrow. So 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we will go live for that one. Race also on the USA Network, just like today's Xfinity Series race. I believe they'll be getting the 1 to go signal this time by, which means we'll have exactly 20 laps to go in stage 2 when we get back to racing. If they give them the 1 to go. There's still some safety vehicles sweeping off the top of the racetrack off turn 4 yet, so might not give them the 1 to go this time by. That incident again took place in turn 2, where Emerly had gone for a spin. Patrick's still in this race, but 2 laps down in the 28th spot. Parker Retzlaff on pit road, or in the garage, I should say, with Kim Kuhn.
One of the power wires, they like shorted out and burnt all the way from the battery to underneath the dash and started a fire. So it got a lot. There was just a bunch of smoke and stuff, and I felt like we were making our car a lot better. Like I feel like we struggled a little bit at the start, just like completely different from practice. And I think that we got the car there. Like I felt like the best we've been all day. Like I think we were working towards making the car as fast as Xfinity Internet, and they were like making good gains. And I felt like we were up to like 15th there and just gaining on everyone. And then we had some bad luck.
Parker has an early end, Marty, to the day. What is his first start in any series at Iowa?
So, Kim, we talked about those drivers that did pit. We reported that Austin Hill and Brett Moffitt both had reported vibrations. That's why they came down pit road. I want to show you the right front from the 19 of Brett Moffitt, and there are significant blisters on this right front tire. What I'm surprised by, Jeff, is that it hasn't gotten better as rubber has laid on the racetrack. This is almost all the way down to the fabric on this right front for Brett Moffitt. In terms of Austin Hill, he just asked Andy Street, his crew chief, he said, is there anything we can do about this right front issue, or is this how it's going to be for the rest of the day? They really haven't contended back in the top 10 since they went higher on air pressure, and Andy Street told him, I'm just going to have to keep going higher on air pressure, Jeff, and as you mentioned, that takes away performance from the car.
Well, it does, Marty. Setups matter. Driving style matters. Not every setup is the same in these race cars, and some are easier on tires than others, and some drivers are easier on tires than others. So the combination in the 21 car, they're just not comfortable with. We don't have an answer. And so when you get in that situation where you don't have an answer, you have a decision to make, and that's slow down. And that is not, it's going to be very difficult to keep track position and slowing down at the same time. But as the race goes on, things can get better. To Marty's point, sometimes the track gets rubbered up. It takes a little heat out of the tires. Things can get better, but you can't be in denial and act like you don't have a problem when you clearly do.
Choose taking place now, and the Smiths will both stay in the outside lane now. So that puts Cole Custer on the front row. On the inside lane, Jesse Love will fall in behind him. John Hunter Nemechek, Corey Heim, and Riley Herbst making up that inside row.
See, a lot of drivers favoring that outside line. Dave.
Chandler Smith's spotter told him he was driving the car too deep into turn 3. Here was Chandler's response.
My part thought, even though it hasn't happened yet, even being optimistic, thinking it's going to be gripped up when I get down to turn 3, thought throwing off in there, and it disappoints me every time.
So his smart self is probably going to back up the quarter a little bit better, a little bit more, if he wants to stay ahead of the side-by-side Sammy Smith on this restart.
It disappoints him every time. And he's the one making the decision.
Yeah, well, all I know is he's the fastest thing here, so I'm not sure.
Still out
I
front.
want to do something different.
Still out.
All right, pace car pulling down onto pit road. 18 laps to go in the restart in stage 2. Chandler Smith, Cole Custer on the front row here. Chandler on the outside of the control car. Cole Custer trying to take the lead away for the first time today. Green flag back in the air. Back to racing at the Iowa Speedway once again. Fanning out quite a bit on the front stretch into turn 1 further back. 3 wide. Slight bit of contact. Jesse Love has the car in the middle of him. Cole Custer did not fire off well on that restart. Slides up, loses a few positions. Going to fall back to 5th before getting back in line. Justin Allgaier has moved back up into the top 5 to 4th on his slow resurgence through the field. And Ross Chastain up to a race-high 3rd place position. Good quiet run for the Watermelon Man. So Chandler Smith is definitely the one to beat here in this race. By far, he has led over 100 laps in this race. And in fact, he's led almost 100 more laps than the next closest driver. Pure domination for Chandler Smith in this one. Got a couple drivers keeping pretty tight with him of both Sammy Smith and Ross Chastain on this restart, though, trying to go for the stage win. Maybe firing off on these tires with a little bit of heat in them, a little different for Chandler, and Sammy Smith's underneath him on the front stretch. Side by side for the lead. Sammy Smith trying to take the lead away from the guy who's dominated thus far. Goes way up the racetrack. Still stays on that left rear corner panel and now has to stay in line behind him into turns 3 and 4. So failed pass attempt for the lead there. Showing John Hunter Nemechek on camera outside the top 10, still struggling with his race car as he battles for positions. Right around Matt DiBenedetto and Leland Honeyman, three-way battle for 12th around Nemechek. Sammy Smith lost a lot of ground that last lap after not making the pass in turns 1 and 2. Had a big slip up in the center of the corner. Still holds on to second place. Running about a slight bit higher through 3 and 4 than the 81, who was wrapping the bottom that time. And the 81 going to take his line away into that middle groove to upper portion of the asphalt, the fresh asphalt, in turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Right back to the bottom again. Sammy Smith on both ends of the track, more towards that upper lane of the fresh asphalt. So Allgaier got the 4th initially on the restart. He's now back to 6th, and Sam Mayer's in 4th and closing in now in the 3rd place car of Ross Chastain. He's all over his back bumper off of turn 2. Allgaier still followed back, and Corey Heim now going to put a test of the 7 for 6th place. Sam Mayer on the inside of the 92 of Chastain, now door-to-door for 3rd. On the front stretch headed to turn 1, Mayer trying to take over that spot. And if he is able to do so, this will be the first time Sam Mayer's cracked the top 3 here today. Tough day in practice yesterday, but a good starting spot due to the metric system and the qualifying washout for qualifying earlier this afternoon. Sam Mayer got to start up inside the top 10. And he's pretty much quietly ran to the back half of the top 10 for most of the day, but this restart he's surging forward, and again, now up to 3rd. Within a second of the lead. He has not been up in the top 3 all day until now. A little over 100 to go. 10 laps left in stage 2. Ooh, Nemechek might have actually gotten up against the wall off turn 2 a couple laps ago when he went wide and lost a bunch of positions. Cole Custer still slipping backwards on this restart. He was on the inside of row 1. He was running 3rd at the time of the last caution. And now Cole Custer's fallen all the way back to 11th and out of the top 10. He came in as the points leader, and now might not be in position to even get any sort of stage points in stage 2. So that could hurt him in that championship battle for the regular season title. Chandler Smith, who was right there close to him at points, looking to win these first 2 stages today. Sammy Smith still within a half a second of him. Custer gets back by Austin Hill for 10th, and he's back underneath the other RCR Chevrolet as well of Jesse Love. Where Custer and Hill had a bit of a run-in at Charlotte just a few weeks ago. Custer, after not firing off while the restart, does get back by both the 21 and the 2 over the last several laps. Custer to 9th. Austin Hill all over the back of the 2 of Jesse Love. Looks to the inside with a late dive in the center of the corner to get underneath him. And the RCR teammates are now door-to-door for 10th place into turns 1 and 2. Hill slides up the track. He makes contact with Jesse Love. Overdrove the corner a bit, and now Nemechek is underneath him 3 wide. Big block by Hill on the backstretch in a late dive to the bottom lane, and he nearly turns himself off the front bumper of John Hunter Nemechek. More contact with the 20 car and a big battle for this 10th place and final stage point spot. Late in stage 2, that contact really bogged down the 20 of Nemechek. Hill was able to hold on to 11th. Nemechek now has the 19 of the 19 of Brett Moffitt underneath him. Hill again to the inside of his teammate, Jesse Love for 10th off turn 4. 4 to go in the stage, by the way. Hill down low. Love up high. Hill doesn't slide the tires that time, and off the exit of turn 2 is finally clear. Jesse Love, Nemechek going to look to take over on Love for his spot. All clear. Nemechek now to 11th. Well, he had a chance to clear in the center of the corner. Maybe a little too patient with it. Gave Love a little bit more room. Jesse got to the outside again. Now Love struggling. Through 1 and 2, not only lost the spot to Nemechek, but the 19 car is going to get around him as well. The 19 does have slightly fresher tires, so he had pitted for tires during that last caution. So he may have a shot to still get back in the top 10 before the end of the stage, but the laps are winding down for Moffitt to be able to do so. To running top 10 for most of the day, despite starting back in the 29th spot out of 38 starting cars. 26 of which still in the lead lap, 92.31 mile per hour average race speed. Late in stage 2. We're on the final lap of the second stage, in fact, and over a 1.5-second lead for Chandler Smith. Car in the wall, Jesse Love has blown a right front tire. Our third right front tire casualty of the race. This one very early in the run, considering we only had 17 green flag laps before this yellow. Already seen a few big hits this weekend with right front tire failures, and this looks to be another. This is going to end stage 2 under caution, just like we ended stage 1 under yellow with a right front failure from Jeb Burton, another Chevy. And Allmendinger, also a Chevy that blew an engine back in the first stage as well during the first tire stint of the race. So Chandler Smith is going to sweep the stages here today at Iowa, winning stage 1 and stage 2. His 4th and 5th stage wins of the year. He now has the second most of any Xfinity Series regular. Still 5 behind Allgaier, who does have the most. Yeah, big hit into the outside wall for Jesse Love, and that was in the middle of turns 3 and 4 where the right front had gone away on Love. And the rookie will be done. Love came into the day 5th in the point standings overall. Solid rookie season as well. Did get his first win at Talladega a couple months ago. But going to fall back in the driver's standings just a little bit more. Quite a few DNFs already in this race today. This DNF from Jesse Love. So I'm going to say he's not going to be able to continue. He did come to a stop, I think, up against the wall as well. So this will be the 8th DNF of the race, and we're just now about to start the final stage. So 8 drivers already out. We still have about 100 to go in this NASCAR Xfinity Series race at the Iowa Speedway. You're listening live on KRC to full flag-to-flag action. Mystical Bandit, thanks for tuning in. Moffitt's tire did look like garbage. Tigers up 8-0 in the top of the 3rd. Wow. On JV, too. They were going up against Verlander today. I saw Veerling hit a home run to lead off the game. I got that score alert. I haven't really checked it since. Thanks for keeping me updated in the chat. On my Detroit Tigers, while we got this Xfinity race going on. Be sure to vote for who you think is going to win the race as well. Once again, a reminder, we are at the end of stage 2. So we will close that poll before they go green. Should have pit stops coming up just before that. And we've got our stage 2 diecast showing as well to get through during the stage break. While we wait for pit stops to happen, actually, it looks like pit road's going to be open this time by, so I'll let you listen to those pit reports first. Love has climbed out of his car down on pit road. I kind of figured. Day has come to an end. And 51 of Jeremy Clements getting some assistance from a push truck out on the racetrack, so potential issues for another driver in the field. I guess pit road not open this time by, and that was probably because of the 51 getting pushed around the track. And I also think they're towing the 2 of Jesse Love off of pit road at this moment as well. He had pulled out of his car in his box, but they're going to have to tow his car back to the garage area. So we'll get the diecast showing out of the way right now. I don't have a Kyle Larson diecast, but I got a Hendrick Motorsports number 5 diecast, a few of them from Terry Labonte. But now that we're going with the 164 scale diecast showing, I've actually got a Mark Martin CarQuest Auto Parts Hendrick Chevy. This is from the 2010 season. So not the 2009 year where he finished runner-up in points for the 5th time in his Cup career, but this is from 2010. And again, this is a Mark Martin diecast. These CarQuest schemes have always been fairly underrated, I do believe. This one not bad whatsoever. One of the many Car of Tomorrow 164 scale diecasts I have. Again, from a lot of those and a lot of like Gen 4 from the early 2000s. All my childhood cars here. So we have plenty more to show over the rest of the season, but that is the diecast showing for Stage 2 of today's Xfinity Series race. We'll close the poll then now while we're at it as well. 74 votes were casted. Appreciate everybody that did cast your vote for who you think was going to win. 10% taking Chandler Smith, 10% with all going to somebody other than those 3 winning the race. Virtue of everybody that voted in the poll. So appreciate everybody that did do that. 47 likes on the stream right now as well, but 74 votes in the polls. If you do vote in the poll for future reference, be sure to hit the like button as well on the stream. Oh man, fire on the 2 as he's getting pulled back to pit road. Now they gotta drop the car, put the fire out, and then hook it back up again. They're trying to get the tow off of it before the tow truck burns too. It's a very late fire, probably from tire buildup, I would imagine, underneath the right front, but wacky scene here. In the garage area with Jesse Love's car catching fire on the back of the tow truck. Obviously well after he had pulled the garage and got out of the car. Right front still smoking on him. Well, pit road going to be open this time by. That fire is going on in the garage area.
Pit box as quickly as possible. Be aggressive, Kilm, and not slide through pit box.
And for Iowa native Sammy Smith there at the top in the 8 car, he's just still a little bit free. Starting to give a little brake fade, so they'll pull some tape to help that. He asked them, help me on the short run, and I will manage it on the long run. As a little slow, it looks on the right side of that change, Dave.
You saw Chandler Smith challenge on those. The end stage 2 was fun to watch. A little tight for Sam there. Also said the brakes haven't been much better. We'll see when they can leave pit road. Here's the 80. They're on down. There goes Sam there, leaving a stall.
Ryan Sieg wins the race off pit road, but does not take tires. Of those that did take 4 fresh Goodyears, Chandler Smith would have been the first off pit road from them. 3 spots gained for Riley Herbst again. He's been great on pit road with that team. 3 spots gained for Sheldon Creed and 5 spots gained for Cole Custer to get back into the top 5 as well. Listening live here on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Iowa Speedway. We'll take another break and we'll have the final stage coming up here shortly for live commentary to the finish. Chandler Smith does have a hot rod today, and I think the big thing with Chandler Smith having as fast of a car as he has, they've had no right front tire issues at all. Hasn't had to deal with a vibration like we've heard a lot of teams radioing into their crew chiefs today, and that's only a plus if you're a Chandler Smith fan or Chandler Smith himself in trying to get this win. So Josh Williams stayed out of the pits entirely, and then Ryan Sieg went fuel only. And I think Sieg was one of the drivers, as well as Josh Williams, who actually pitted during that caution late in stage 2. So trying to leapfrog the field and get some extra track position here. Over 100 laps led today for Chandler Smith. 131 laps led so far. That's over half the laps that were scheduled for this race.
But we've seen a little bit of damage on the one car. Are you concerned for the right rear? Maybe the bodywork is getting into the tire.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Everybody's doing a good job on the Rotoroo Chevrolet, and just appreciate all the hard work we've had. We've been up and down all day. You know, we got beat around on the racetrack a little bit, so I feel like we got our car the best we can get it right now. The 81's awful tough, so we'll see what happens.
I was praising you earlier today for your overnight changes. Did you expect this at all? Because as bad as you were in practice yesterday, you have a shot to win this race.
Yeah, I know. It's we just went to work last night, put our heads down, and made a plan, and we're executing it right now.
Marty Lindley, old school, one of the best in the garage area, and he's got Sam Mayer in a spot to get a win here at Iowa today.
And Marty, we're seeing the 98 back on pit road, and they're putting some tape on the fronts. What happened here as we look on pit road?
It looked like some contact here. Yeah, there's Ross Chastain's coming out. You can see some contact.
Oh.
I didn't really get where. I did see him working on the left front a little bit with it, but I guess maybe the front was something that they weren't going to take the time before, and now just had that opportunity to do that from something previous.
Something. Interesting that they put tape right around where the grill the race car is, maybe trying to seal up or patch a potential hole. Might have been punched on the race car where they did have the tape. Jeremy Clements with a pit road penalty will now have to drop to the rear for this restart. And 2 drivers on old tires on the front row, and not as much experience of running up front here today of Ryan Sieg and Josh Williams. It's going to make for an interesting restart from row 2 on back with Chandler Smith, Sheldon Creed, Cole Custer, Sam Mayer all going to try to get to the lead here as quickly as they can. A caution on the final lap of stage 2 is our 5th yellow of the day. They don't have to pit for fuel anymore the rest of the way. If we did somehow stay green, but with the tire failures we've had, I don't think we've seen the last one with still 90 to go in the restart. But we'll have to wait and see. And they don't have to pit at least for fuel the rest of the day, but they may pit for tires. I would assume a lot of these teams still have one set left. Green flag back in the air. Good launch for Josh Williams. Up the middle, 3 wide on the restart goes Chandler Smith. But he's going to get pinched off quite a bit by the inside row 1 car of Ryan Sieg. That opens the door up on the bottom lane for Sam Mayer to get to the inside of Sieg into turns 3 and 4. Smith going up the middle didn't work out very well, but then Mayer overdrives the entry to turn 3, holds on to second, has to drop in line in front of Josh Williams. And a big mistake off turn 4 in the inside lane as well for Chandler Smith, as he can't even stay alongside the 11 of Williams. He gets passed on the outside by Sheldon Creed. Chandler Smith going backwards as he's in dirty air for one of the few times today. Now he's 3 wide middle again on the backstretch between the Toyotas of Corey Heim and Brett Moffitt, as Chandler Smith still trying to get settled in, and he is getting split 3 wide middle, lap over lap, corner over corner. It almost looks like he has a problem at this rate. I mean, Chandler Smith's falling all the way outside the top 10. After winning the first 2 stages in dominating fashion, he's in line now behind Justin Allgaier. Chandler Smith has fallen outside of the top 10 and all the way back to the 12th place position. Josh Williams now starting to fade as he falls outside of the top 10 this lap. Ryan Sieg still leading the way, though, for right now. Two-tenths of a second advantage for Sieg over Sam Mayer at the very front of the field. Sheldon Creed is 0.6 of a second back in third. Cole Custer 1.4 seconds off the lead in fourth. Brett Moffitt in fifth, 1.6 seconds back. John Hernimacek is in the 6th place position. He's 1.8 seconds off the lead. 2.1 seconds back is Corey Hyman 7th. Austin Hill up to 8th, 2.2 seconds off the lead. Josh Williams has fallen back to 9th place. Thought he was going to fall outside of the top 10 there, kind of stay in that 9th spot where he runs. He's 2.5 seconds off the lead, and then Sammy Smith is in 10th after finishing second in Stage 2. Sammy Smith's 2.7 seconds off the leaders. So very similar to how Jeremy Clements on old tires was able to lead a handful of laps off of a restart to begin Stage 2. Here to begin Stage 3 under green, Ryan Sieg is doing the exact same thing. Sieg nose to tail with Sam Mayer on the backstretch as they race into turns 3 and 4. Sam Mayer down about a half a lane in the middle of 3 and 4 versus the 39 car who stays slightly above him. Again, in that black asphalt, the repaved portion of the racetrack, but towards the top of it. And that middle groove in the center of the corner, a lane and a half off the bottom. Forcing Mayer to have to run the inside lane to get by the 39, but Mayer slipped up the one time he tried to get underneath him. Mayer's car, maybe at least at this point in the run, not handling well to run right on that white line. And the track position strategy, if the tires hold up, is working for Ryan Sieg as of this moment. These two went toe-to-toe at Texas in a photo finish. 2 1,000ths of a second, one of the few photo finishes we've had across all 3 series already this season. So close to his first career win that day, and now Sieg steps over the edge, got out of the black asphalt, way up into the gray and the marbles, and not only loses the lead, but he's going to lose second place as well. Sheldon Creed gets by him over half a second back, and Sam Mayer takes his first lead in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Iowa. Sieg led for 8 laps before surrendering the lead. Mayer has now led the last 2 as he is out in front. And again, Sheldon Creed was able to get the second. 9 career second-place finishes for Sheldon Creed, but no wins in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He's a former Truck Series champion. And in his first year with Joe Gibbs Racing, he has 5 top 5 finishes, 8 top 10s. And again, a few runner-ups, but trying to go for that race win. Those right sides just got a little wide. And off the black, that darker repaved asphalt there for Ryan Sieg. And that overdrive and slip up in the middle of the corner lost him, again, not 1 but 2 positions. Cole Custer, Brett Moffitt, John Hunter Nemechek, all nose to tail on screen as they were battling in a 3-way battle for 5th. Still 78 laps to go. There is time in this one. And again, I don't think we've seen the last caution personally. Although these teams can make it on fuel to the end of the race from the length of this final stage. And that fuel window being 95 to 100 laps, we restarted with a little less than 95 to go. Ricky Thompson, thanks for tuning in as well. What happened to SVG? He got in an incident early in Stage 2. Car got loose, overcorrected, snapped it into the car to his outside of Blaine Perkins, took both of them out of the race. As they'll both finish outside the top 35 today. Or outside the top 30 specifically. 34th and 35th. Jesse Love outside the Infield Care Center.
Once it got really bad, it just blew on me, so it was coming. Tires are chunking, so we don't want to pick up pit road to have no issue. So this is really fast. We're looking really proud of my guys today. It was fast. It's just need to keep on plugging it at the speed that we have and start putting together finishes.
Jesse, glad you're okay. By the way, quick update on the Chandler Smith situation falling out of the top 10. There is no update. He's been silent on the radio. You know, frustrated, but he'll try to work his way back forward.
Was just frustrated with himself, losing as many positions as he did on that restart. Got held up a little bit initially there by Josh Williams, but Falling outside of the top 10 was definitely unexpected. Again, still in 12th, right where he restarted, so he has not gone upwards through the field. Allgaier lost several positions as well because he was top 5 again at the end of stage 2. And again, another restart where the 7 team falls behind just a bit as well. So Sam Mayer obviously has a win this season at Texas. Outside of him, up at the top portion of the field, Sheldon Creed's still winless. Cole Custer's winless. Brett Moffitt's never won in the Xfinity Series. He's on a part-time schedule here. Nemechek does have a win on a part-time schedule this season. And then you got Corey Heim without a win in the top 10. Ryan Sieg, Sammy Smith, Josh Williams. So there is a chance we could see another new winner and get that 7th driver locked into the playoffs for the Xfinity Series field if a Creed or a Custer goes to victory lane up in that top 3. Sheldon Creed within a half a second still. Sam Mayer. We'll see if it'll happen. The Toyotas have had a lot of speed today, though. A couple of them have fallen behind here on this late stage 3 restart, excuse me. But Sam Mayer trying to control it all out in front for right now. Side-by-side NASCAR nonstop commercial break on the USA Network. 91 mile per hour average race speed and a little over an hour and 45 minutes from the drop of the green flag to where we are right now with 69 laps to go. 5 cautions total, all for incident. Both the stage ends were by cautions with incident. We've had 7 different drivers lead at least 1 lap in the race today. We've had 9 lead changes amongst those 7 different drivers who have led as well. Mayer, the most recent new leader, as he has led 15 laps and counting right now out in front. He's actually led the 2nd most laps today now. 131 laps led in 2 stage wins for Chandler Smith, but he runs in 12th still since this restart. He has passed Justin Allgaier, but then Ross Chastain passed him a few laps ago for 11th, so definitely struggling there. We're down to just 67 laps to go. You're listening live to the NASCAR Xfinity Series at the Iowa Speedway on KRC. I'll let you listen into more of the actual race broadcast when they come back from this next commercial break. Getting closer to the middle portion of stage 2. And we're getting close to that 30 lap mark in this green flag run as to maybe we'll see a tire blowout and another caution coming up soon here. I'd hope not, but the way things have happened so far, it could be a possibility. In fact, one car is actually slow and is going to make a stop right now under green. That's the 19. Brett Moffitt making a green flag stop.
5 laps to go for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and to go was then he came up the radio, said, "Be ready. I think I have a right front going down." Stevie Reeves, his father, said, "It's not worth getting hurt, but we're going to leave it to you when you bring it to pit road." Moffitt said, "Oh yeah, we got a problem. I'm coming to pit road." They've run 26 laps of this run, Kim, and Moffitt had to come to pit road. He thinks he has a right front going down.
Another driver that's been plagued by vibrations through the course of this entire race has been last vibration. They did bring him down under caution when the tires were taken off. Patrick Donahue said they look okay. Mark thinks he might be going crazy. He can't decide if it's maybe a tire issue or a brake issue. As you see Ryan Sieg on pit road right now taking a fresh set of tires. Remember, he last stopped for tires on lap 126, so needing those fresh Goodyears for the end of the race.
Saw the crew of the 19, Moffitt, having to push him out of his stall. So now with this pit stop by the 39, he's going to be scored at least a lap down, probably 2 when everything cycles back through.
So how do you play this? If you have Sam Mayer, if you're Creed, they're both being told save tires, right? Save tires. Well, how do you save tires if you're Creed? Keep Sam Mayer, close. And how do you, if you're Sam Mayer, save tires to keep Creed from catching you? So it is really, this takes some discipline. And I think for 2 young drivers, some outside influence be really important here. The crew chiefs, spotters, look, here's the big picture. and give them a direction and demand that they do it. I think that's what young drivers will be best served in this situation.
Marty, how about the tires for the 19? What was the issue there?
Yeah, we wanted to get a look at the right front for Brett Moffitt. He was right. There's the flat spot, or not the flat spot. There's the blister right there for Brett Moffitt. So he was correct. They had to come to pit road for that. They are now down 2 laps. Now, Jeff heard one chief talk to his driver about trying to slowly bring in the tire temperature as much as they could. Could that be a factor of why this is still happening as late as it is in this Xfinity race?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot about, teams talking about putting air pressure in tires, the track rubbering up. I just don't know how any of that helps. I mean, this is a heat-related issue. And so the only thing that what makes heat is speed. What makes heat is pushing the car hard. What makes speed is an aggressive setup. So you just at this point. So how do you manage it? And you just heard that communication. Cole Custer's talking about he's got some shake. He's got a little vibration. What do I do? He wants some help. But the crew chiefs can't look at the tires in this situation. They don't know what you have going on either. So it really is a guessing game.
Steve had a great point because he is a great former crew chief, but he said putting air in the tires not going to help, especially when we see these blisters in the center of the tire. That's not helping there whenever you already blow it up and make the center bigger. It may make it worse.
Yeah.
That's a great battle we're watching here. John Hunter Nemechek on the inside, Cole Custer on the outside. Absolutely, Custer said he had a vibration, and then that radio back, if he just caught a flip up, do you want me to go hard? He is right now racing John Hunter. John Hunter is okay, but says he may have a little bit of a vibration too. So racing and saving, it's like a fuel save, except this one, if you don't do it right, it could put you in the wall.
Well, they run 35 straight laps here. That's the longest of the day. So we're in uncharted territories in a very difficult situation. It's a lot of racing left to go. I still think you have to save some tire here. I just think you got to take some pace out of it.
Nothing wrong with the tire that they can see. That's Cole Custer. You can hear the vibration in his voice. So John Hunter Nemechek. Josh Williams on pit road now on the 11. So the right side tires only for the 11 of Williams.
A lot of cars on, just coming down pit road. We just see 4 or 5. We got another one. Benedetto is on pit road.
They're dropping like flies. It'll be a matter of who's going to be the one to stay out of the pits the longest. Because, again, they can make it on fuel. 50 to go still. Quite a ways out. Having a slight buffer, by the way, on my end. Of course, it was leading into a side-by-side commercial break anyway. So Sam Mayer leads by 1.3 seconds over Sheldon Creed with 50 laps to go. John Hunter Nemechek is in third. Cole Custer fourth. Corey Heim fifth. And Austin Hill is sixth. Ross Chastain in seventh. Chandler Smith eighth. Justin Allgaier ninth. Sammy Smith rounds out the top 10. Riley Herbst in 11th. Daniel Dye in 12th. Parker Kligerman 13th. Ryan Ellis is 14th. 15th for Brennan Poole. And 16th is Leland Honeyman. He's the last car in the lead lap. Joey Gase first car lap down at 17th, Anthony Alfredo 18th, Kyle Sieg 19th, Dawson Cram 20th, David Starr 21st, Patrick Emerly 22nd, Josh Williams 23rd, Ryan Sieg 24th, and Matt DiBenedetto 25th. Jeremy Clements in 26th, Brett Moffitt 27th, Haley Deegan 28th, Garrett Smithley 29th, and Jeb Burton is 30th. 31st and out of the race is Jesse Love. Parker Retzlaff also out 32nd. Everybody else behind these guys in the running order have DNF today. Kyle Weatherman 33rd, Shane Van Gisbergen 34th, Blaine Perkins 35th, Brandon Jones 36th, AJ Allmendinger 37th, and Glenn Reen 38th. So it rounds out the running order. Caution is out on the speedway. Justin Allgaier has blown a right front tire. He's into the fence hard, right off the exit of turn 4. So I figure we haven't seen our last yellow of the day. Showing a replay under the commercial break of Allgaier blowing out the right front. Again, a hard hit into the wall. And this will probably force every driver who is on the lead lap to come to pit road, take their last set of tires, and hope they can make it to the end from here. This will be the 4th DNF of the year for Justin Allgaier. Only this one, he wasn't really in contention for the race win. He led some laps early off the initial start of the race, but that was about it. He's pretty much ran just outside the top 5 for most of the day. In this case, just outside the top 10 here through stage 3. 14 laps led on the day for Allgaier, and again, an early exit for the 4th time this season. Bam. Yeah, a lot of hard hits with these tire failures today, too. That one might have been the hardest that we have seen so far this weekend with the right front tire failures. It is weird that Chastain had the left rear tire failure yesterday, or a tire going down in practice, and every other tire we've seen before, since then, in both the Xfinity and Cup Series have been right fronts. And that left rear was probably more a product of the air pressure being a little too low. Start of the run, going through the bumps, than it was the Goodyear problem that we've seen so far this weekend with the track taking too much heat. So as they work on getting Allgaier's car back into the garage and towed there, I would imagine that the leaders are going to end up pitting. Again, it'll be the final set of tires, at least of sticker tires, going on these cars. Except for John Hunter Nemechek. Remember, he has an extra set if needed, because he had stayed out of the pits way back at stage 1 during a caution we had early in the race for AJ Allmendinger blowing a right front, and what was nearly the same spot that we just saw Justin Allgaier have his right front tire failure. And the only other cars that stayed out of the pits at that time were Jeremy Clements and Ryan Ellis. Ellis is also on the lead lap at 13th still, so it's good that he saved that extra set of tires if he needs it for these final 50. Really, the only way that's going to work is if we stay green the rest of the way here. So we went about 40 laps, a little over 40 laps in that green flag run before the caution. It was actually the longest green flag run we've had so far in the race today. By the time we get this next restart in, we're going to have right around 40 to go again. So it is not unlikely that we could see yet another tire failure here today before the finish. And that is going to be an interesting thing to develop as we get further along in this final green flag run, or what is likely to be the final green flag run coming up. Hanover, thanks for tuning in to the stream as well. 53 likes, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. I wasn't picking my nose. I was rubbing it. Allergies, man. Get all itchy. Rubbing my eyes, too. Feel like it's a Midwest thing. I've just had them real bad since I was younger. I wasn't picking my nose. Wait, Zelensky trying to start some stuff in the chat. I see what you're talking about. It does look like I was picking it. Because my bill was covering up my hand on my hat. I can swear to you I wasn't. I just looked at the camera angle on my instant replay. It's got pit stops.
Fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco shelf free day.
John Hunter Nemechek gets up third. 4 sticker tires for it. Takes 30 laps for his car to come in. They'll make an adjustment to try to make that better, Marty. Sam Bear said the fire off is terrific. Leave it alone. I don't want any adjustments. They lost 4 spots the last time down pit road because Sam Bear slid 2 stalls. He sits too long again, and he can't get around the 10. He'll lose 4 spots this time.
Yeah, it looks like the back end of 10 of Daniel Dye was out there a ways and had to make Sam Mayer.
Jonathan Nemechek wins the race out of the pits, gaining 2 positions. Sheldon Creed second. 2 spots lost for Sid Mayer, who was in the lead. Cole Custer up 1. Austin Hill back in the top 5. Chipping away at some teams on pit road for yet another 4-tire pit stop. So the free pass with this caution coming out goes to the 35 of Joey Gase. So Gase gets the free pass to get back on the lead lap. A little over 2 hours into this race from when we started things earlier this afternoon. Tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race at Iowa will begin at, at least our pre-race coverage will begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern with the drop of the green flag shortly after 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. A little Sunday night NASCAR and the first NASCAR Cup race at the Iowa Speedway. Short track race in there. Under the lights. Love to see it. May have an even bigger tire roulette game here tomorrow than what we've seen today in the Xfinity Series race. My pick to win was actually Justin Allgaier, even though he hasn't really had race-winning speed today. I did take Allgaier for the win, so I'm not going to switch my pick. I know somebody asked me in the chat there. Chandler Smith has had the best car today, but fell back on that second-to-last restart. He got some spots back with that caution. He's back up to 6th. Gets a good restart here. I wouldn't count him out. We still have over 40 to go, and he has not had any sort of tire issues all day today with blistering or chunking or anything of that nature, so he may be good to go to the end. I'll have to wait and see. Have Kyle Larson on the pole for tomorrow's Cup Series race. After winning a week ago. So Martin Truex Jr. retiring from full-time Cup competition. It's going to be a lot of the talk for a lot of the season, but especially this weekend with that announcement coming officially during yesterday's press conference interview with Martin Truex Jr. at the Iowa Speedway. Still has about a half a season to go. 20 races left on the Cup schedule out of the 38 races to start. So a little over half of a season left remaining. For any Truex fans out there to watch him trying to go for some more wins and still trying to go for that second career championship as well. He's in the hunt for that regular season championship still, as he had won the regular season title a year ago. If he makes the championship 4 appearance again, who knows? Toyota's been good on the short tracks this season, and maybe this weekend could be a good weekend for Truex, although he didn't qualify particularly well. See how we'll do on race day tomorrow. So John Nemechek, Sheldon Creed were the first 2 out of the pits, but Creed is actually going to be on the outside of row 2 behind Nemechek, the control car here. Sam Mayer will be on the inside of row 1. Inside of row 2 is Austin Hill. Started on the pole, but he never led a lap in this one. And really, this has been as far up in the running order as he has been today since the very early start. Quickly faded out of the top 5. He got back in the top 5 briefly with a fast pit stop where they gained 5 positions earlier, but for most of this race, he's been outside the top 5. At one point was as far back as 21st in the running order. It's a great rally for him. All over the back of Sam Mayer, moves him up out of the way into the first turn. Mayer didn't get going very well there. All got ran over. Hill underneath him, still into 3 and 4, battling for 4th. Oh, one car way wide and up, barely off the wall was Parker Kligerman. Made a great save. Good job catching that race car as he went all the way up the racetrack. While the Toyotas at the front of the field still going for the lead. Sheldon Creed gets a little loose on the bottom, overdrives the car just a bit. Cole Custer to his outside as the 20 of Nemechek is clear. Custer going to take over the second place spot side by side for third. Austin Hill to the outside, and the 18's getting freight train now. Hill pushing the back of Custer on the front stretch. Getting down into turns 1 and 2, right in line behind him. Creed again slips up the hill. Trying to take the line away of Sam Mayers. He squeezes into fourth. Doesn't give Mayer a lot of room, a lot of contact there. Forced his way up in front of the one car. No give and all take now in the late going. Hill to the inside of Custer for second. Custer way down the racetrack, trying to side draft him. Hill's clear. Slides up. And clear in turns 1 and 2. 3 wide further back. Briefly, at least. Around Herbst, Chastain, and Heim. 3-car battle for 8th at the tail end of this largely single-file line in the top 10. 36 to go. Hill has been one of the teams that have had problems with tires blistering all day. And with about a 40-lap green flag run to the finish here, we'll see if his tires are going to hold up. But he is charging hard. He's pushing hard. And he is going after John Hunter Nemechek to try to get a win. Hill has not won since the second race of the year at Atlanta. He got his first 2 wins in the first 2 races on the super speedways. Haven't won since then this season. He's been consistently up towards the front in a lot of races. Qualifies well, but just hasn't won. Maybe today could be a good day for him to do so. Cole Custer, by the way, up to third, as he had gotten by Sheldon Creed that last lap for position as well. Slow car in the front stretch, turns 1 and 2. It's Brennan Poole in the 44. Tough break. He was in the top 15 on the lead lap. Might have a flat tire on Poole's car. He'll be making an unscheduled stop, but we do stay green. No debris on the racetrack and no incident. Oh, car in the wall, Austin Hill. There's that right front tire failure we were just talking about. Actually, it looks like the left front is down. Goes way down the racetrack. Almost gets clobbered. That was a close one. Hill has crashed. Wasn't the right front this time. It looks like the left front. He was charging hard, though. Really wanted that lead. And now another driver in contention for the regular season championship, just like Justin Allgaier, out and done for the day late. Yeah, tire failure headed off into turn 1. He'd had problems with it all day. It looked like it was the left front rather than the right front, though, this time, which tells me the air pressure might have been a little too low. Got aggressive with it being very late in the race and didn't pan out for him. Yeah, it's definitely the left front that was flat. Slid down the racetrack quite a ways into the black, fresher asphalt center of the corner and almost got clobbered. Thankfully, he didn't. Well, another one bites the dust at the Iowa Speedway today. Now we're going to have less than 30 to go on another race start. Little bit of a heat cycling and a cool down period for those tires. But a lot of these teams are on their final set right now. Nemechek, who is the leader, has an extra set, but I doubt he's going to give up the track position for it. If he wasn't in the lead, I'm sure he would. Now, Ryan Ellis in 11th. There's only 15 cars on the lead lap. Ellis, I believe, is another driver who has an extra set of tires left to the end. He may pit here because he'd only lose 4 positions to take on fresh Goodyears. Might as well. It might be his best chance at least getting a top 10. But again, Austin Hill, flat left front. 7th yellow of the day. Justin Allgaier has been caught up with outside the infield care center.
We hit free, 2 free. I'm just trying to even get back to until they're I just hate all the guys in the 17, everybody precision build, pressure agriculture. This is very unique. It's definitely not the old Iowa. There's a lot of things that are different, and I hate it. We thought we were doing the right things, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out in our favor. So we're gonna regroup. We'll look at all the notes. Obviously, Sam led a bunch there. I didn't feel like we were in too bad a shape, but once that happens, you're just kind of a passenger along for the ride and try to save it all the way to the wall, and unfortunately, it wasn't happening. So we'll regroup and go on to next week, and hopefully have a little bit better race.
I saw Ashley and the girls on pit road with you. You get to walk out of the care center. You're healthy. You get to celebrate Father's Day tomorrow with them.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to celebrate with a win. It was my mom and dad's 55th wedding anniversary last night. We got to celebrate with them, and there's nothing better than having the family with you when you go to Victory Lane. That's obviously not the case this afternoon, but I hate it because these fans that are here. I mean, this Iowa Speedway brings people out in droves, and it's truly an incredible facility. And I hope we keep coming back here. I just hope we can work on some things to maybe not have the situation we're having today.
Former winner here, Justin Allgaier. He's out, guys, but he's okay.
Well, you mentioned the crowd coming out in droves, and I'm sure they're anticipating a great finish to this one. Under 29 laps to go, and really anyone's race. John Hunter Nemechek's up front. We've seen Cole Custer. Sheldon Creed, could he break through, get his first win after 9 second-place finishes?
And we see restarts, how crazy they are. And once again, they're going to restart on hot scuff tires with build up on them. And that's when we've seen actually the wildest restarts. They've been all over the place. So it's no telling what's going to happen here. I believe John Hunter will pick the outside. What will Cole Custer do? Will he go to the bottom? Will he go to the top? These are difficult decisions, but what's the other thing that's difficult about this, DJ, is that on hot scuff tires, your car can do one thing on a restart and the next restart do something completely different. Yes. You really don't know.
28 to go this time by under the caution. Again, John Hunter Nemechek is the race leader over Cole Custer and Sheldon Creed up in the top three. Marty Snyder's caught up with the crew chief here of Cole Custer.
Cycle, Jonathan, help that tire wear. I think so, yeah. I think anytime you do it a heat, it'll probably help that mixture. Front here's practice. You're right. I think at the beginning of the day, everybody thought this was going to be a race to the bottom of the track here at Iowa. Has it moved to a race to the middle? Is the outside line the better choice here on this restart? I would say so. It looks like all day the middle has prevailed. Bottom kind of a lot of trash down there and stuff. So, yeah, I think the outside of the middle so far has been the way to play. There you go. So you might make that move, Rick, which would be interesting to not go on the front row and take the middle behind John Hunter Nemechek.
We're going to see here.
Choose rule will be coming this time by. We'll take another ad break before the next restart. You're listening live to the HyVee Perks 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Iowa Speedway. "54 likes on the stream. Once again, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. Restart will be coming up with 26 laps to go. Top three taking the outside lane. Wow. So Sam Mayer from fourth will actually be inside of row one. I'd take it. Jumping up a couple positions in the restart order. Surprised Sheldon Creed took the outside, although Creed has been struggling when he's on the bottom lane in the restarts all day today. So that could be why Creed took the top, but not the fire off on the bottom lane through the restart zone, but once they get down into turns 1 and 2, he slides up the track a ton. And middle to upper groove has definitely been the preferred lane through most of this race today as well, and it's only building that way more and more with less cars down on the white line and on the bottom as the race progresses. Rubber getting laid down on the racetrack as well. One car pulling to pit road from the inside line as we get to the restart here. Green flag back in the air. Nemechek with a great launch on the restart. It's going to be clear. well before getting into turns 1 and 2, but he just stayed in that middle to upper groove. Sam Mayer down to the bottom on the white line, trying to stay with the second place car to his outside of Cole Custer. Can't do so. Custer cleared for second. Mayer in line gets to third in front of Sheldon Creed initially. Creed looking back to the outside through 3 and 4. And Mayer all over the back bumper of Cole Custer door to door for second again off turn 4. The bang fenders on the front stretch. Custer went down to side draft him. I think they made a little contact again. Mayer's going to slide clear. Back into the second place position. Remember, Mayer was leading a bunch of laps before the caution for Allgaier blowing the right front. Lost some spots on pit road. And now has gotten his way back up to second. And I'm sure restarting on the inside of row 1 definitely helped him gain a couple extra passes prior to the restart. And having a good restart, being able to stay up in front of those cars he got up in front of. Corey Heim a little up and out of the groove. Right side's got up into the gray above the fresher asphalt in turns 1 and 2. Allowed for the 92 of Ross Chastain to get by. Chastain's been great on the restarts today, and he's up to 6th. And Corey Heim going to slip right back underneath him through 3 and 4. Chandler Smith going to cut it to the inside. 3 wide under both cars on the front stretch. Now backs way off into turns 1 and 2 to let the 26 go, as the 26 is sliding around a ton. Through turns 1 and 2 again. Smith to the inside of Chastain on the backstretch into 3. Chastain going to hold the 81 tight. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, side by side for position. Big wiggle by the 81 of Chandler Smith off turn 4. Side of Chastain holds serve for at least another corner, another straightaway. Sam Mayer only 0.4 of a second off John Hunter Nemechek at the front of the field, down to 22 laps to go. And Cole Custer had just been passed by Riley Herbst for 3rd place a couple laps ago. Herbst is on the move. So Herbst, Custer, Creed, 3rd, 4th, and 5th have not won yet this season. Creed, of course, never won in his Xfinity Series career entirely. And the top 2 in the running order do have 1 win this year of Mayer and Nemechek. Nemechek on a part-time basis. Mayer, of course, full-time. And Brennan Poole looks to have an engine failure, heavy smoke, maybe fluids out from underneath the car. Caution again with 20 to go. Tough break for Poole. Had some issues earlier on, which dropped him well off the lead lap, and at 12 laps down, another engine problem today, and this time it seems to be for Brendan Poole. It's the 8th caution of the race, lap 229 at the time of the yellow. 2:30 actually, 20 to go. And again, pit road will be open not this time by, but probably the following time by. But these teams are on their last sets of tires, except for Nemechek, Ryan Ellis. Don't know if Ellis pitted or not for his final set that last time or not. He's currently 12th. I think he was 11th right before that. A lot of tire failures today. Have we seen the last one? The caution laps are going to help with a slight bit of cool down. Recycling, just less overall. Green flag laps to the end from the last time they changed their tires. Originally, it was looking like it was going to be 40 to make it to the finish, and now we've had 2 cautions in that last 40-lap stretch, and they'll save these tires at least a little bit more, to the point where we're really going about 30 or less green flag laps to the end now, which will be even more of a chance that we make it without any more tire failures, at least. I believe Matt DiBenedetto in 17th will get the free pass with the caution. Yep, that is the case. Anthony Alfredo got the free pass on the 7th yellow of the race after the incident from Austin Hill blowing a tire. Did not mention that yet, so Alfredo's still on the lead lap and in the top 15 as well. Plenty of attrition today. Yes, there is. Here's Austin Hill outside the infield care center.
You had a chance finally in a position to win the race, and then it seemed like the 18-lap scuffs were going to be the way to go. Why didn't that work out?
Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what happened. We were having some issues all day today with some blister on our tires. We had a lot of left side tire wear. We thought we had it fixed. We came in stop prior, that was my best run of the race. I drove all the way up to 6th, and I thought I had a car that was, in contention to win. I thought our Bender Chevrolet was as fast as Xfinity Internet all of a sudden. And before, I'm like, man, if we could just get a top 15 and get out of here, I'd be happy. So we definitely turned it around. And then, I don't know what really happened there other than it looked like we lost the left front, and a lot of people were losing right fronts today. So it felt weird, like half a lap before that. And I came over the radio, I'm like, something doesn't feel right. And I lost a lot of ground on the 20. And I didn't even drive in fully into one. It blew, and then, when it's on the splitter, you just can't get it slowed down. So, unfortunate day for everybody at RCR, ECR, Bennett. Thought we were going to have a really good shot at it today, and it just didn't work out.
So you're really thinking it was kind of a separate issue from what everybody's been battling all day?
Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. I know that there's something going on. I don't want to put blame on Goodyear or anybody like that. It could just be the teams just trying to be aggressive with air pressure. I don't really know. But there's definitely something going on. But not saying that ours is the same as theirs or not. We could have just ran over something for all I know. But definitely we had some type of issue that was similar to the other guys. It just seemed like it was the left front instead of the right front.
Great. Glad you're okay. To say the least, guys, it's been tricky up there today.
Yeah, it's been a difficult time for Austin Hill over the past 2 weeks. This one he's out of, but he was raced pretty aggressively a week ago at Sonoma by Shane Van Gisbergen and ended up 5th there at Sonoma when Shane won. And so now coming here and not being able to get the finish that they were hoping to get. Let's listen into Chandler, see how they're doing.
Thanks, I'm on the front. Can't do anything. Can't be aggressive at all. This thing's got way more grip after I got 50 on that pump damn tires.
Yeah, that's what we see here as well. I mean, if you put that car out front, he would drive away from everybody. But on restarts, he just has no grip and loses spots on every restart, Dave.
And Jeff, it's funny because that was after a big adjustment on the pit stop before he made those comments. Big chassis adjustment, and then he made a brake bias adjustment in the car as well. So fighting it a little bit and trying to find their way back to the front where they've been a lot today, Marty.
Dave, let's see. Davin Restivo and Riley Herbst have faced a couple blister tires. You faced some damage on the nose and a almost wreck on pit road. What haven't you fought today, Davin?
Yeah, we fought hard. We have a really good Monster Energy Ford Mustang here today, and Riley stayed in it. That's been the battle, is making sure we stay focused and keep hitting our marks all day long and just battle back from the rear. I think he's passed more cars here today, so we're gonna see what we got here in the next 15 laps and see if we can go get this trophy.
A lot of the conversation over the last 3 minutes has been about this choose and which way to go. What did you tell your driver?
I said, winners take the front row.
There you go. He said, I don't care what you do. In my opinion, you start 3rd or 4th back there, or 3rd actually, on the outside line, you're not going to win the race. Winners take the front row, DJ. That's what the crew chief told the driver.
So 15 laps to go right now. Again, less than that when we get back to racing. They have not gotten the 1 to go signal or gone through the choose rule yet. So at least a couple more laps away before the next race start. Again, 17 cars on the lead lap for this upcoming restart situation. John Hunter Nemechek, Sam Mayer, Riley Herbst, Cole Custer, all the drivers at the front of the field. More than likely will be in the top 2 rows upcoming. 20 should get the new set of tires. Nah, you can't give up the lead. That'd be foolish at this point. He'll never get back up there. You're in for the ride at this point, tire failure or not. I mean, he last pitted at the same time as everybody else, too. Kind of a shame, though. You got the extra set of tires and no point of really using it. We've seen blistering, but we haven't seen much fall off today, so it's not like he'd just rip right back through the field, no problem. From 17th, which is how many cars we have on the lead lap if he were to take that last set of tires. It's worked out for him one way or another, though. of Riley Herbst. He will be on the inside of row 1 here for the restart as both Nemechek and Mayer take the outside lanes. 13 to go on the restart here at the Iowa Speedway. Again, the 7th, 8th mile short track. And this caution was our 8th of the race. Hopefully it'll be the last. It's after an engine failure and possible fluid on the track from Brennan Poole. Green flag back in the air. Not a great launch on the front row for Herbst. Holds up the 18 of Sheldon Creed behind him. And John Hunter Nemechek easily clear in the middle of turns 1 and 2. See if Herbst can hold on to second in line behind him. I believe he's going to. Surprised Sam Mayer wasn't able to get to the outside of the 98 car. Herbst right there on that left rear corner panel of Nemechek's race car off turn 4. He gets into him. A little bump and run. Riley Herbst is going for the lead. And he's clear into turn 1 with 12 laps to go as he slides up in front of the 20, taking his line away. Riley Herbst with an aggressive move comes out with the lead. First time he's led all day today. Big moment by Sheldon Creed again on the bottom as he slides up into his teammate. They're both up against the wall off turn 4 and losing several positions. And a big tire rub on the left side of the 20. Well, now he's definitely going to have to come down and take fresh tires. Nemechek goes from the lead, gets booted out of the way by Herbst. His teammate gets into him the next lap, and now he's got a left front tire rub as the fender is caved in on the carcass of the tire. We'll see if he pits this time. He does not. He's going to run it out for now. Still 10 to go. And now the battle for the eventual win looks like it's going to be between Riley Herbst and Sam Mayer for the moment. Mayer's in second and closing, and Corey Heim in third. Truck Series regular trying to go for his first career Xfinity Series win. Chastain back up into the top 5. Mayer's closing quickly on Herbst. About 2/10 quicker than the 98 that last lap. So within about a car length and a half behind him, 9 to go into turn 1. Herbst needs a win to get into the playoffs. He's not below the cutoff line, but a win would lock him in. He did miss it a season ago, so you just never know what could happen there. He eventually got his first career win last season in the playoffs, but wasn't a playoff contender. That came at Las Vegas. It's his only career Xfinity win to this point. Mayer closing on the inside lane, getting a little bit of fresh air, clean air on the nose. 26 is closing on the 98 as well as the 1. The 1 needs to make quick work. And Cole Custer in 4th is also closing the gap here in the late going. Top 4 all within about 0.8 of a second of each other that time by the line. 7 laps to go. Mayer all over the left rear of Riley Herbst trying to get him air loose. Slips underneath him. Don't think he touched him. Side by side for the lead. Herbst's going to pinch the 1 down. Mayer slides up the track. He's clear. Herbst trying to get the drive off to cut underneath him, but he can't do it. Sam Mayer back to the lead with 6 laps to go. Had to make quick work of Riley Herbst, and he did. Herbst made an aggressive move to get to the lead on the restart. A great launch. Nemechek is still not pitted. He's still out there on the track with that left front tire rub, so we'll see if he holds on to the finish. 5 to go this time by. And he has not held on to the finish. Meanwhile, seconds later, he's up against the wall and the tire has given way. And we have yet another caution, our 9th of the race, another tire failure, though this one was because of contact on restart and not because of the track. And that 20 cars, all sorts have been up, and we're going to be guaranteed at least one more restart now and another chance for Herbst to try to get back out in front for the win. This will likely push us past the scheduled distance, and we should be going to overtime following this incident. That initial tire rub is from the 18 of Creed getting up into him after Creed overshot the corner in turns 1 and 2. He's done that so many times on restarts today. It's like the 3rd or 4th time Creed has gone up the racetrack, gotten into somebody, that time wider than the times before. Both scraped the wall just a bit, and then laps later, again, John Hunter Nemechek's left front finally gives out. He was trying to stay out and make it to the end of the race. I kind of figured it wasn't going to make it a dozen laps from the time of the contact, and it definitely didn't. 5 to go, it gives way. And again, this is our 9th caution of the race. Outside of race leader Sam Mayer, You have to go to Chandler Smith in 9th place before you find somebody else who's won an Xfinity race this season. If Mayer does not win, there's a very good chance we get a new winner this year at least, and maybe a first-time ever winner in the Xfinity Series when you consider Corey Heim being in 3rd. The inside of row 1 worked on the restart initially for Herb, so he may take that again here from 2nd. Be interesting. I would imagine he would do that again. If he doesn't, it looked like Heim would end up being on the front row for the restart instead. Don't know that Herbst is going to give that to him. And yes, we are going past the scheduled distance here, because they would have had to get the one to go signal that time by for us to get this restart in and get the finish at its scheduled lap 250 distance. So a little NASCAR overtime in the Xfinity Series here today. DNF for Nemechek means that we are now going to be sitting at 12 drivers who have DNF'd in the race so far today. That's quite a few. A lot of them because of tire failures, a couple engine failures in there as well. Brandon Jones, Brendan Poole, a couple others pulled off the track, like Glenn Reen earlier in the race with an engine issue, Kyle Weatherman. So Parker Retzlaff had a fire. His race car pulled him out of the race early. So a lot of mechanical and tire failures in this race. Again, 12 DNFs. And we still have at least one overtime restart upcoming. And again, per overtime rules, we get to the green flag. The next flag will end the race, whether it's the yellow or the checker, if the race leader takes the white for the last lap. Caution comes out before the race leader gets to the white flag, then we will have another restart, unlimited attempts to at least get to the white. And if the caution comes out on the final lap, then the race will end. And the finishing results will be the order in which they were at the time of the caution and not to the last scoring loop. Like stream as of right now, setting up for this late restart. So be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done that yet. Again, 55 likes so far. Subscribe for more NASCAR content if you haven't yet also. Oh boy. Come on.
Freeze, they'll go another lap. This is a 7.
Be different. You have to feel a little bit of what that driver, the anticipation of what he wants you to do, and not do that exact thing.
We talked about Corey Heim, what Riley Herbst needs to do to defend that. That's his opportunity to win this race. Let's make it 3 wide, get into the corner, and then you got the 26. Corey Heim, what's he going to do? What's the Creed on the bottom? Going to try to make it 3 wide. What does Heim do? I don't think you can make it 3 wide on the top on this racetrack. I don't think the track's wide enough.
Come on.
So what is his goal? His goal is, in my opinion, to
Sliding up the racetrack is Creed. Mayer is going to clear Herbst as they come out of 2. Does Heim have enough time? Coming to the white flag. One more time around. Sam Mayer in the middle of the track. Riley Herbst. One final try as they come through 3 and 4. Adam. Sam Mayer is going to win in Iowa.
Thank you guys so much. Unbelievable. Thank you guys.
Had a little bump there. And the left rear is now flat.
You got so much unbelievable. You got
And we'll bump there. And the left rear is now flat.
you got so much unbelievable. You got
And we'll bump there. And the left rear is now flat.